And we're live.
Welcome to the Dead Air Horror and Genre Podcast.
Mr. Pop. Eat.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Dead Air Horror and Genre Podcast. I am Jeff Konopka, and tonight I'm joined by my esteemed colleague and co-host, the one and only Mr. Chad Young.
Hello, Jeff. I want to play a game.
What's your wrestling name, Chad?
The period. I don't know. Didn't we go over this? Oh yeah, we went over this last week, I think. But you were gone, and I was I was talking about how I would like come out to the ring and I would be the period, and I would like have shit stains on my pants and all, and I'd just like teabag people. It was really stupid.
Like most of the things we talk about here.
Essentially.
So if you're just tuning in for the first time, essentially what we usually do is get together once a week, and on Fridays we generally record live. We review one newer release and talk about a whole bunch of other genre-type movies, so horror, exploitation, sci-fi, whatever the fuck we decide we want to talk about, basically. And you can find all of our live shows when we're recording them at deadairpodcast.net/live, and all of our older shows are up in the feed at deadairpodcast.net. And tonight, we're going to be talking about a movie called BACKCOUNTRY, which is now from IFC Midnight on VOD, and will probably be coming out on DVD and or Blu-ray within the next few months. And the rest of the crew is off for the night. Mr. Jesse Bartell, Mr. James Harris, and Mr. Sean Savage are all out in the ether someplace doing things. They're probably pulling a heist somewhere.
You wouldn't be surprised.
Diamonds.
And yep.
And basically, Chad and I are the only two people that don't have lives enough that we're sitting on the internet on a Friday.
And you have a kid. That's what's funny.
Well, he's upstairs sleeping. So that's
a good point.
But he'll be up at the ass crack of dawn, at which point
yes,
I'm up with a hangover, being like, God damn it, why did I stay up so late last night?
Why'd I watch those Gremlins, though?
Those Gremlins. Though that would be a time that's well worth spending staying up late at night. But most of the time when I'm up late at night, I'm just watching garbage. Like kind of fucking garbage that I can find on the internet. Or I'm watching Juggalo freestyles.
Yeah, you shout out to Dylan. We need to shout it out. But no, the fact is, you know more about Juggalo culture than I ever could. So it just amazes me the crap like you'll send me and the crap that you have seen, and oh my gosh.
I don't know that much about Juggalo culture.
Yes, you do.
No, I really don't. Dylan knows way more about Juggalo culture than I do. And happy birthday, Dylan! If you're
happy birthday.
I know you're not listening live because I don't think anybody is at the moment, because this is just kind of one of those nights where I didn't really get a chance to do much promotion of the link this week, and I don't know. I think it's kind of warmish out, and people seem to be doing things because we're getting closer into the summer months. So, so I don't know if there's anybody actually listening out there. But if you are listening live, the Q&A app is open. So if you want to send us messages or ask us questions, feel free to use the Q&A app, and we will answer whatever kind of stuff that you got there. But yeah, it's Dylan's birthday today, and I know he's not on because he said he didn't have a computer or something like that tonight. So I don't know what I'd do without a computer, though.
I'd probably go crazy.
Probably. But it's probably a good thing to occasionally take a Friday night and not spend it on the computer. And speaking of not spending a Friday night on the computer, just for some some news here, I guess, as far as what's coming in store for the show, is that we will be taking a week off next week. So the 17th, April 17th, we will not be recording live or recording a show at all that week, because I am going to be in Syracuse at the Salt City Horror Fest, which is happening over at the Palace Theater on James Street. And I think there's still tickets for it. I think it's like $20 or something like that. And they're showing a whole bunch of fucking movies. I don't remember all of the titles right in front of me. But
Beetlejuice, Poltergeist, Clockwork Orange, Big Trouble in Little China, which I'm sure you're the most excited about that.
Yes, I very much am. That's like they were looking for titles to add to it. And I was like, yo, if you played a 35mm print of Big Trouble in Little China, it would make my year. And like 5 minutes later, like a day later or something, Jeff Meyer, the guy who runs the fest, posted that they were going to be showing it, and I was like, dude, I'm so there.
I'm surprised you're not sponsoring it.
I'm so there, in fact, enough to, well, if I could sponsor it without having to spend a bunch of money, I would totally do it.
Sure.
But because I would just love to get up there and just be like, this is my favorite movie ever, and it's just amazing. And Kurt Russell and Kim Cattrall and that David Lopan, though.
Oh, yeah. And then I can pull my pants down and show my shit stains.
But, well, I got a story about that, but
my shit stains?
No, not your shit stains, but yeah, it's complicated. But I'm going to be at that next weekend because it's basically going to be like, it starts at noon and goes until probably like 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's all 35mm prints of films. I think they're showing some random Doctor Who episode.
Yeah,
too.
They've got like some Doctor Who expert, I guess.
Yeah,
and,
I'm probably going to skip that.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just coming down for two things, and then I'm just going to buy some stuff from VHSPS, get some lunch, see some friends, come right back. Just because.
Well, I'm actually going on after work on Friday. What I do every year is I go up on Friday, the day before, and basically I stay at a hotel out there, so that way I can get there early in the morning without having to like drive for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it just makes it easier because me leaving my house on a Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning to get there, like, I'm just not going to be happy. So I usually just go after work, get there on Friday, I hang out in my hotel room, I drink beer, I watch TV, I go to sleep, I sleep in until like 10 o'clock, and then I just kind of get up, eat whatever breakfast I can get, and then I go to the theater and spend the whole day at the theater. Except for the times when I'm like out roaming around and drinking alcohol outside of the theater.
Which I'm sure, our buddy Jordan Guerin, he's going to be there. He's a fine connoisseur of beer as well.
Well, yeah, but I think he's driving in and out the same day, so
he doesn't
doubt he will be imbibing very much,
True.
if at all. So I usually also drink at the theater because they sell beer there, and then it's really easy because they don't give a shit about you carrying backpacks in. So I tend to throw a bunch of cans in my backpack also. You
know what, though? Now that you've said it, now they're going to fucking check every fucking bag.
No, they don't listen to this.
Yeah, no one does.
Pretty much. No, listen, but you'd be surprised. People listen. I'm still surprised that people listen. I'm glad people listen, but apparently
it's a fun show.
Like us. So I guess it's, thank you for listening to us. For me, this is, I've said this before, but this is just like kind of therapy for me because this is my weekly bitch session where I just get to rant and talk about movies, things that I don't get to do in my normal life because most of the people I work with, if they knew half of the shit that I watched, they probably would not want to work with me anymore.
True.
So, and as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to coworkers, I like them fine and all, but I really don't want them in my personal life because they always go and do things together, and I just use the excuse that I have a kid, but in reality, it's just that I don't want to hang out with anybody outside of work that I work with because awkward things happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a few people I don't mind at my work. It's just they're all they're all like I can barely like make a reference and they'll get it, and it's they're some of them are like geeks, so they're like comic, and one of them is an anime geek, and I like them, but I can't make like any jokes about Nintendo or back in the day. I can't make jokes about The Wizard or Masters of the Universe or crap like this and expect them to get it.
Yeah. Well, I can do that without a problem because there's definitely a few of them that play video games. So I can talk to them about that stuff at work. But it's one of those things where my personal life is my personal life. And it's like almost like I have a secret identity. And my secret identity is that which most of the people who are my friends on Facebook and everywhere else already know about. So it's not really so secret, but I keep it separated from all of my professional interactions. Just because the last thing I need is people at work listening to this podcast and hearing me talk about some of the shit that I talk about, because they would probably not be all too thrilled to hear us talking about all of the anal sex jokes that we make and things like that. People take shit seriously.
Yeah, they really do.
I'm just like, all of you people take life too seriously. Just go get drunk and hang out and watch movies and talk about people's balls in your faces.
Yeah, exactly. What's
life
the
is
fun? What's the fun in life without that?
So, at any rate, I usually go up there, and I go up for the whole weekend. The thing goes late on Saturday, and the last thing I want to do is drive home and get home at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So I generally just crash out at the hotel, sleep for a few hours, hang out in Syracuse for a little bit, maybe get some lunch. And then I come back on like Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and then go back to work the next day. So it's usually like a fun weekend, and I just kind of get to get away from the house. Obviously I don't get to see my wife and kid over the weekend, but it's probably a good break from them or for them as well.
Sure.
To not have to deal with me for a weekend. So that's coming. So we will not be on for that week. The following week, we will be reviewing the new movie that's coming out in theaters next week, which is called Unfriended. We've been making fun of, and a lot of other people have been making fun of, but I've heard good things about it. And actually, I just saw some article where they were talking about they filmed it in like one actual take. I'm sure that they didn't just use that one thing, but apparently the whole movie takes place at a computer, and supposedly they at least did one entire run through of the movie in like real time. So I'm interested. I don't know what to expect, and I hope it's good, but at the same hand, if it's not good, I'm sure we'll have fun making fun of it.
No, yeah, I'm sure.
So hopefully we'll have most of the crew back for that show, and then we'll be taking another week off after that. So for the 1st of May, we will not be recording an episode of the podcast, and that is just because I am just taking that weekend off to just hang out and watch bad movies. And I really don't have a good reason other than the fact that I'm just taking a vacation day and taking a long weekend from work, just so that I can not be around people and, except for maybe some friends or something, have some people over. Maybe we should watch Hawk Jones or something.
Oh, yes. We definitely need to. That's been way overdue.
Well, there won't be anybody at my house that Friday, so we can just watch whatever kind of garbage we want to watch. And hopefully it'll be warmer out and I can actually use the grill and stuff.
We can have a horror movie barbecue.
We can, literally. We should just start calling those things the horror movie barbecue event.
Yes. And then we just start inviting random people in your neighborhood, and then we just make teabag jokes.
And then they're all like, I don't like these people anymore. Most of my neighbors do not know me, so I mean they've seen me, I'm sure, but I don't talk to them.
I've seen your neighbors. I'm pretty sure that they're just better off.
Well, that house across the street is straight up abandoned.
We should go in and film or record a podcast episode there.
It's kind of creepy sometimes because they just up and disappeared like a few months ago. It was like they just left, and it was right before we had all those snowstorms, and literally there was like 3 feet of snow all the way up in front of their door. So it was like there was no way anybody was getting in or out of that house. And it was ridiculous. And my wife was like, where are those people? I was like, I don't think they're coming back. Like I seriously think that they just left. I don't know what was going on, but it they just took off, and then there's been people coming over to the house to do like work. So I don't know if the bank took the house back or something, and the bank is like trying to renovate it to sell it, or if those people were renting and whoever the landlord is like fixing up the house. But it's kind of creepy because they've taken the curtains down in some of the windows, and occasionally there'll be people over there and they'll turn a light on and leave a light on. So you'll go by and like there'll just be a window with no curtain and the lights on all night, and it's just empty. Like you can see in the house and it's just empty. So it's like almost like something out of a horror movie and whatnot, because there's like no lights outside of the house, and people just kind of come and go at weird hours, and
just like your house. Let's be fair.
I keep my curtains closed.
Yeah, but people are always like coming and going in that place.
Not really.
Every time I'm over there, someone's always coming in, and then they're just like leaving 20 minutes later.
Oh, who? My friend Mike, probably. Yeah, he randomly showed up at my house last weekend. James and I were here, and we were just hanging out, and then all of a sudden we saw a car pull into the driveway. He didn't like text me or anything. He just showed up. And I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in months." He just randomly showed up at my house without calling or anything. I was like, I don't really care, I guess, but it's just weird. So that happens. But yeah, so I'm going to take that week off, and then we've got a bunch of stuff coming out in May, because I think there's like a shitload of movies coming out in the theater. So I believe that in May we'll be reviewing, I think it's called Before I Wake. Is a wide release horror movie that Relativity's putting out. I have no idea what it's about. And then Mad Max Fury Road.
It's going to be so awesome.
Looks pretty awesome. And I'm going to admit, I've never seen any of the Mad Max movies.
Yeah, me neither.
So I'm going to be watching all of those at some point. And then I think the week after Mad Max, we have Poltergeist coming out.
Which I think looks great.
And I'm interested to see that, and I'm probably gonna. I was actually thinking that like it would be really awesome to do a Poltergeist retrospective, but I don't know how we'd have time to fit that in before that movie comes out, anyway, unless we push our review back for that. But I'll probably just do the movie and do another retrospective later at some point.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
I still need to get the rest of those fucking Nightmare on Elm Street retrospective episodes up. They're all recorded. I just got to edit them. And
can I just say something real quick? I am so heartbroken you didn't ask me to come on for the part 5.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Well, wasn't you hadn't even been on the show at that point. We recorded those like last December.
Yeah, oh no, you're right.
Or no, those might have even been like last November. I've been holding on to those for like 4 months at this point, because I just have not had time to get to them, and we've been doing this show so many times that like I've just been trying to get caught up. And I actually put up a whole shitload of stuff in the feed this last week. So as we're recording this, I have 2 more episodes to record, or not to record, but to edit and put up in the feed. I just got to do Spring and It Follows, and then we'll be caught up to this. So by next week, we should actually, because especially since I'm taking the weekend off and I'm going to be at the hotel, I'll probably bring my laptop with me and just do some editing at the hotel.
Word.
So hopefully by the time May rolls around, I can have all those up and maybe get those Nightmare on Elm Street episodes up, and then we'll be caught up so that we record this on Friday, and then the edited version goes up on Monday.
You know what we should do? Prom night.
We are going to do a prom night retrospective.
Oh, even better.
That's going to happen because I have not seen any of them except for the original movie.
I'll save it for the retrospective then.
But there will be a prom night retrospective series that I've been threatening to do since last year, and I definitely want to do that. And at some point, I've got ideas for other ones, but honestly, there's been enough stuff keeping us busy that it's like, without doing like multiple recording sessions a week. Yeah. So, and the retrospectives we will not be doing live either. Probably, we usually don't because they're shorter, and a lot of times we record multiple ones. It doesn't flow right for a like an internet radio thing, right? Because like what we're talking about now, we don't talk about any of this shit on the retrospective. We just get down to business. We're like, hey, we're here, we're doing this, look at our episodes, and then we talk about the movie, and that's it. But when we're doing these episodes, we just talk about everything but the movie, which Chad is probably happy about tonight. Because he was sending me messages about the movie for tonight's podcast. I was like, save it, because we need to have something to talk about. And if you tell me everything right now, then we're not going to have any discussion. Because you're just going to be angry. And I'm going to be like, I give up on life.
I'm going to go hang myself.
So that's kind of pretty much the schedule all the way through June. So, yeah, a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. A lot of stuff going to be going up in the feed. I've got some ideas for other things that I want to do as far as getting things kind of up to speed and updated. So keep your eyes out and, come join us for those shows. And hopefully that will be all good.
Keep your butthole tight.
And like I said, deadairpodcast.net is the regular site where you can go just to find the most recent episodes in the feed. And if you use iTunes, you can go to deadairpodcast.net/iTunes. Subscribe to the podcast, and please, even if you don't subscribe to it, but if you use iTunes, can you go there and leave us a review and or a rating? That would be wonderful. Just because we've only got, I think, like 22 ratings or reviews or something like that, and it would be great to get some more. Obviously positive.
That would be nice.
But it helps us because it gets us more visibility and stuff out there. But when you search Dead Air Podcast on iTunes, we are one of the top ones that actually comes up.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And we're on Facebook, so all that kind of stuff. Good times. Good times. But going back to my story of what I was talking about with old people, or like you were talking about shit stains and balls and stuff like that. So I don't know what it is with old dudes at the gym and their balls and just not giving a fuck. I guess kudos to them for just not giving a fuck and being comfortable with their bodies. But man, I'll be damned if I wasn't at the gym earlier and getting ready to leave, and like I turned around and some old dude is just there bent over in front of me in his tighty whities, so tight that I can see practically his butthole, screaming at me. Dirty ass drawers, balls sagging, making his tighty whities like bend down. It was the most nasty thing. And I was just like, this is just fucking foul. This is just foul.
Do you want to know something? I just think that like shit stains are the funniest things on the planet, and I don't know why.
I'm sure your girlfriend is absolutely thrilled about that.
Yeah. But like when you go to the gym, but I'm with you. Like I'm with you on this because I go to the gym too, and I went on Monday. And, it's one of those, like, locker rooms that just, there's a bench and there's just a wall of lockers.
Oh, yep. Did you go to Planet Fitness by any chance?
No, I go to the Y. So this guy had his drawers pulled up all the way up to his fucking, up to his saggy man boobs. And it was just like, he had a nasty camel toe, man. It was so gross.
Yeah, dude, this was like reverse camel toe.
Oh my gosh, it was so disturbing.
Oh man!
Welcome to the
people have
podcast.
The only thing I can figure is they just get old and they have absolutely no shame, and I just can't help but wonder to myself: is that going to be me in 15 years?
That's me right now, dude. I don't give a shit. I'm wearing my boxer shorts right now in the living room.
Yeah, dude, but these are not boxer shorts. Like I've never seen something and some of them will just come over and put their leg up on the bench with their balls hanging down, and they'll just be like, "Hey, how about that?" And you're just like, "No, I don't want to talk to you. I don't know you, and you're kind of creeping me out, bro."
You remember back in the late 80s or in early 90s how chicks would wear bikinis all the way and they would look like they're just pulled up all the way to their neck? That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, but I guess it's kind of a two-way street, right? Because we probably wouldn't be complaining if chicks were walking around in their underwear.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess maybe I wouldn't even be offended about it if it was not like some old saggy ugly looking dude.
It's probably true. And
I guess if it was a
in your
good-looking dude,
face-
I might be like, yeah. Well, that's the other thing. It's like personal space, right? And they just like sometimes it's like they want you to look.
They really do. It's a valley of cocks.
It's just like have you seen Rare Exports?
No.
Well, at the end of that movie, there's just old men running around naked with their wangs hanging out and everything.
So it's like Cocoon?
Pretty much.
Pretty
much. Shit is out of control.
Shit's
just
like and shit in general.
It's like It Follows. Like all of those scenes from It Follows with just like the creepy ass naked people. Like that movie has the most unsexy nudity ever.
Sure.
It really does. I think I was reading our buddy Justin's review on Letterboxd.
Justin La Liberty?
Yeah, Justin J. Lives, the mustachioed warrior. And his review was basically like the most unsexy nudity since Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Yeah. All right.
Basically right, because that whole movie is like that bathtub scene from The Shining for like an hour and a half. So, yeah, that was gross. But at least that was entertaining. When I see it at the gym, I'm like, not so much. So.
Yeah. No.
So welcome to the Sweaty Balls podcast.
The Camel Toe podcast.
Camel Cast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure somewhere out there is a Camel Toe podcast where they actually talk about
lucky for you, I am a Camel Toe historian, enthusiast, and I know my way around a Camel Toe culture. So you got pretty lucky with scoring me.
So your wrestling move would be the Camel Toe clutch.
Yeah. I would just teabag people and like rub my boner all over their faces.
Oh man, you just took it too far, Chad.
No, I did not. Shut up.
That's too far.
No, it is not.
And it's one thing to talk about old men balls and stuff, but let's start talking about rubbing them on your faces.
Well, from what you told me, you almost had one. I'll rub it all over your face.
Oh, I was like, I almost walked into it because I didn't realize it was there. And then you see it, and it's just like, holy shit! There's my vomit bag.
you just use your you just use your gym bag just to throw up in.
Pretty much, dude. I just was like, oh, foul. Foul.
Your cock, get it out of my face, bitch.
Pretty much. It was
I'll break it.
Just everything on display.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. So anyway,
think about that for a moment.
No, I don't want to. We're
Too bad.
Going to lose listeners talking about all these balls and underwear and things.
Boners.
So yeah, but I guess we're getting towards the summer months and stuff. Things are getting warm out, so there's a lot of stuff coming out in the theaters this summer. It looks like, so that should be pretty cool, and hopefully we'll get a bunch more VOD stuff because VOD's kind of been where it's at, and I'm just really happy that we've gotten the amount of stuff on VOD.
It's true.
Recently, because I feel like back when these are movies that we probably wouldn't have seen for a long time. And it's pretty cool. I mean, even the movie that we're reviewing this week is a VOD film, so it's been good for us anyway to find stuff to talk about, because if we were only doing theatrical reviews,
we'd be screwed.
Pretty much. I mean, but surprisingly, I was like, whoa, lots of stuff in May, I guess. That's all pretty relevant, and it's all stuff that I actually want to see, because I know sometimes I feel like I'm getting groans from you guys when I'm like, all right, we're going to go review Unfriended. I'm just waiting for somebody to be like, oh, I don't fucking see that movie. It's like, come on, guys. Come on, we got to go see these terrible movies. Because if we don't go see these movies, then we won't have any movies to review. So, I mean, I suppose we could just be like the Exercast boys and just review whatever kind of sleazy pornos came out that week.
It's true.
Chuck Connors.
Yeah, that's Chuck Connors, though.
posting pictures of Walmart shopping carts with. He had like a bag of Munchums and a fucking Hulk Hogan
No,
wrestling
it was
figure.
not Hulk Hogan. It was Ric Flair, you asshole.
I don't fucking know. It's just it was a wrestling fucking doll.
You're an asshole.
I don't know what it was, man. I mean, I realize you take your wrestling seriously. I was listening to
I'm quitting.
the Bloody Good Horror podcast, and they were talking about doing a live WrestleMania show.
Oh, I would have loved to have done that.
No, apparently they're doing one next year. They're gonna, maybe they said the Royal Rumble or something. They're just gonna broadcast like live on YouTube when they're watching it, and it's just like,
I believe it.
it would be ridiculous. I don't know. I haven't been into wrestling for a long time, but I don't begrudge anybody for liking wrestling though.
Sure.
I'm not like certain of our co-hosts who get offended and angry.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. It's you want to know something when you this is something I wanted to address. Someone asked me when you guys start talking about like directors, like is it Riffin or whatever his name is, and
Rifkin?
no, it was like Nicholas Winding Riffin.
Oh, Reffin. Nicholas Winding or Winding or however you say it, Reffin. Yeah.
So, like, someone asked me, like, why don't you, join in on those conversations? The thing is, I'm not as knowledgeable with this stuff as you guys are, so I kind of just like hang back and kind of just listen. So I'm assuming it's probably the same thing with Jesse, where he's just like, I've got no clue what the motherfucker's talking about. So, but it's all good. I mean, whatever.
The only reason that I know anything about wrestling is just because like 3/4 of my Twitter and Facebook feed watch wrestling. And so every Monday night and anytime there's a special event, I just see lots of stuff. Like just coming up, and I don't understand any of it because I'm not familiar with it. So that's why I ask you, because I'm just genuinely curious. Like when I asked, I was like, why is everybody so angry about the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
And you like explained it. And I was like, okay, see, that makes sense to me. All I know is Brock Lesnar is terrifying.
Yeah, he looks like a grown man.
Yeah.
Or a grown little... He looks like a man-child. He's disturbing as fuck. And you know what? I would totally call him a bitch. Like, if I was like, all the way up in the nosebleed section. I'm sure if I saw him, I would probably get scared and just crap my pants.
Tattoos of dicks on his chest.
Yeah, he has a giant knife tattooed on his chest, and he kind of looks gay. I mean, not you know what? That's a terrible thing to say. I shouldn't have said that, but it looks stupid. It really does. It looks dumb as hell.
I don't know. I listen to the Jason Ellis show on Sirius XM, and so he talks about MMA a lot. And so Brock Lesnar's come up, and they just call him Brock the Cock Lesnar because they're like, and actually they have a whole segment that's on that show sometimes where it's called "Get the Cock Off Your Chest," and it's all like in reference to Brock Lesnar. And on the Bloody Good Horror podcast, they have this long running thing about like what's more like who would win in a fight, like Brock Lesnar versus like Candyman. Like people being
Candyman?
Like Candyman with like Brock, like Freddy Krueger with Brock Lesnar for his fingers. Dude, no, it's out of control. You have to hear some of these conversations. That podcast, fucking.
See,
awesome.
I've tried to get into. MMA. It was pretty good. It's pretty cool, But
I'm not even talking about MMA. I'm just talking about the Bloody Good Horror podcast.
Oh, okay.
I got
Fine.
Dylan to listen to him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch.
He's not
MMA.
listening tonight, is he? So way to go.
I did watch a couple of MMA videos recently, but that's just because I wanted to watch Gina Carano beat people up.
I don't blame you.
Because that is the kind of stuff I could watch. I could probably get into watching like the women wrestlers. That'd be all right.
Yeah, they're hot. And even better, they're talented. They're athletic as hell,
And everyone's like, you made AJ Lee quit.
No,
Like, what the fuck are you people I don't even know who that is.
She's a chick that looks like a 12-year-old boy, and she's married to CM Punk, and she's boring. She's just as boring as he is.
I don't know. That guy shows up everywhere though, and he's just like, "Look at me, I'm smart."
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
He thinks he's CM Punk thinks he's more important than he really is.
Does he sniff his own farts, Chad?
I bet he does because he thinks he's the
His
shit.
own, like, his protein farts.
His protein farts. That's how he works out. That's how he works out. Speaking of protein farts,
Uh oh.
those spookies though.
Oh God. Dude, at some point we gotta see if is that on YouTube, because at some point
Yes,
we
it
need to
is.
just like the whole movie.
I'm checking right now. I feel like Robin Quivers over here. Like I'm checking everything. This site. What? What the? Oh, I
That's
put
because
in.
if I try to check shit on my computer, it might not come back.
I typed in YouTube and it gave me one of those like malware sites. I was like, what the fuck?
I thought you were gonna be like, it came up with a channel that's all just like 80s hip hop videos.
So rad. I would totally watch it. Okay, so yeah,
just old episodes of Yo MTV Raps.
oh my gosh, there has to be a site out there. Good news, there is the full movie. The Spookies is on YouTube.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's what we need to do. One of these times when we have a week where we just don't have anything to do, maybe we should invite people to a live watch with us.
Yes.
And we will just watch the movie and talk about it.
Well, now here's my question: how long before people start just dropping out? Because even I have trouble, watching this all the way through.
Well, in theory, hopefully we would be entertaining enough. But I guess you're right, because we're probably not. So we're talking about protein farts and old men's balls. In fact, if anybody out there is listening right now, I would be like, you guys are troopers, because we're just talking about all sorts of offensive stuff tonight. And we're talking about everything but horror movies right now, which is, it happens. Whatever. I don't know. Like I said, this is my excuse to just hang out and talk to people and drink beer on Friday nights. Because what else would I be doing right now, Chad?
Masturbating.
No, I'd probably just be up on my couch with my cats, drinking beer, and watching Anna Kendrick movies.
Oh, I don't blame you though.
Because that's what I do. That Anna Kendrick cast, though, I'm totally going to see Pitch Perfect 2. It's happening.
I'm sure it'll be good.
It's happening. Going to the movie theater. I was walking through there, and they had a cardboard standee for it when I went to the movie theater the other night.
You tried to steal it.
Dude, I was like, I want that in my house. And my wife would be like, why do you want that?
House?
And I'm like, just because I got big fucking Anna Kendrick cut out in my house. Oh, Anna Kendrick. She's so
adorable.
delightful.
She really is.
She's just delightful.
It's true.
So anyway, yeah, I don't know. That's really about it for just the bullshit. I don't know. This week has just been obnoxious. Work was kind of annoying. Yeah, I don't know. It's just been one of those weeks where I was just like waiting for the fucking weekend to get here. Because I feel like I really feel like I'm in that Loverboy song. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I hate Loverboy.
Everybody's working for the weekend, Chad. It's true.
Yo.
I'm working for the weekend. And then I was thinking, I was like, yo, we need to go to Record Archive and go on another used Blu-ray run.
Dude, we should do that. If you're not doing anything tomorrow, we should just try and do that.
Let me see what's going on. I don't know about. I got the child.
Yeah.
So that's it. It all depends on what happens with the wife and child, because like I have to take the child and do things.
Yes.
So that and believe me, you don't want him going into Record Archive with us, because he will just be into everything. They'll probably get super angry because he'll just pull stuff off the shelf.
Yeah. For those who don't know, that may not be in the Rochester area, the Record Archive is like this place where you can like get like used DVDs, records, toys, tapes, everything. If it's a media, if it's a form of media, they have it. Like Jeff, you picked it. What did you pick up last time we were there?
I got How to Train Your Dragon 2, American Hustle, The Sitter, and Oh, what the fuck? There's some other movie. I can't remember what it was right offhand. But they were only like $5 a piece, so I didn't really care. And they were all practically brand new.
Mm-hmm. Oh
So
yeah.
it was like a good deal. And so you've been here for what, like a few years now, right, Chad?
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah.
Okay, so do you know about the Record Archive commercials?
Yes, I've seen those.
The
No,
the fat
no,
guy
no,
with
no,
the
no,
long
no, no,
hair, but
no.
he's bald.
I'm sorry. You know what I'm thinking of is I'm thinking about the House of Guitars.
Oh, those are bad too. They're still
Mhm.
running the same commercials that they were in the '90s, I think. Just the guy with like the weird glasses and the crazy like camcorder.
Yeah, he's the owner. He's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Dude,
he's a
those guys
nice guy.
are ripping the fuck off.
What?
They're so sleazy over there. You
Who
don't
at
ever
the
want
House
to
of
buy.
Guitars?
Yeah, you don't ever want to buy musical instruments from them
Oh, okay. I got you.
because they will buy shit from people and give them almost no money and then sell it to you for like an absorbent amount of money, and it's usually shit.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, but the Record Archive guy used to dance around with like a fucking like one of those, you see those like hobos with the fucking clapboards on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he had one of those, except it was a record.
Oh,
On the
yeah. I've
front
seen
and the back.
those.
And he
Those are.
danced around in tights, and they had terrible music, and they were like, "You will come to the Record Archive." And he looks like Ben Franklin if Ben Franklin had long ass hair.
Mhm.
And it was just like the worst commercials ever.
I did see those, and I've been able to like just because I'm not going to name names, but one of my friends, one of my girlfriend's best friend works there, and she introduced me to the guy, and he's very smart and very nice.
I think his
But
name
yeah,
is Dick, right? Dick.
Richard, I think. Yeah, Richard. Yeah. So.
Well, they always put Dick up on the screen, so it was this guy dancing around and it just said Dick.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that one. That
Well,
must have been.
Dude, I grew up watching those.
Yeah.
I'm talking like 15 years ago.
Mhm,
And I bet you they're the same fucking commercials almost nowadays.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But,
Good times.
But it's a pretty great place. Actually, when we went to that one place, I was like, holy shit, they got like way more movies than I thought that they did. They have like a whole fucking room that's just DVDs and Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly DVDs, but
Oh yeah, we need to hit that place again.
for sure, man.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. Let me see what's going on with them.
Yeah, just let me know.
Movie runs, man.
Honestly, I mean, tomorrow I have had such a tiring week, and like just my
All that
back has been
Goodwill shopping.
Yo, that Goodwill though. But I'm just so tired. So if you can't make it, well, that's cool. We'll just we'll make it happen sometime soon.
It's all good though because Salt City Horror Fest. So if you want to find out, going way back to what we were talking about like a half an hour ago, you can go on Facebook and look up Salt City Horror Fest, and it is in Syracuse, New York, at the Palace Theater, which is on James Street. And it's going to be a good time. Lots of cool shit. 35 millimeter, Poltergeist, Big Trouble in Little China, Beetlejuice, Creep Show. So it's gonna be a good times, man. I always look forward to that every fucking year. I really look forward to that, and hopefully they'll do another thing up there this summer. I think the last time that I was there was for Vengeance Fest, where they showed like Taxi Driver and a whole bunch of other movies as well, and that was fun. I usually just go and get drunk and eat popcorn and hang out.
Yeah, they're comfy chairs up in the balcony.
See, I don't ever go up to the balcony. I always sit on the floor in the back row.
Oh yeah, it's nice and spacious for someone who's 30 feet like me.
I don't know. Maybe I'll go up there for a movie and check it out and see how it is.
Yeah.
But I got my normal seat that I sit in. And last year they showed a bunch of awesome shit. They showed Sleepaway Camp in 35.
Don't remind me. Stop it.
Pumpkinhead. The Invisible Man.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck else? There was a ton of good stuff last year. Last year, the Sleepaway Camp was awesome, though. That print.
That penis line.
Yeah, I still don't know why you're not... Dude, like on a big screen, Sleepaway Camp is out of control. Like, you could seriously see the outline of that dude's cock. Like, because it's on a giant, like, however many feet screen, right? And it was like a pristine print.
which is not easy to come by.
It was like the best looking print that they had all night. And I was like, shit, where the fuck did they get this print from?
You know what's funny is I'm not even like upset about the penis. I'm just upset that I missed Sleepaway Camp on the big screen. Oh,
you're like, I'm not even upset about the penis.
The boner, the legendary camel toe.
Fucking dude, that movie though, man. Like, I don't know. I still don't understand why some people think Sleepaway Camp 2 is better than the first one.
Oh, shit, excuse me. I don't think it's better than the first one. I really don't. I don't know where that thought came from, but I think it's just... I don't think it's true. I really don't.
I don't think it's true, for sure.
And I know people that like the third one. The third one's not bad. It's not the worst movie I've seen, but it's just boring. Yeah. I think I like the Return to Sleepaway Camp more than the third one.
Actually, that movie is not so bad. I mean, we talked about it on the retrospective, and I was actually pretty surprised because I heard that it was dog shit. Everybody, and I was like, that movie's not so bad.
Oh no, it's not. That's the thing. I think just people were expecting.
But what do you like? What were they expecting that many years later from that dude? I mean, I already talked about this on that podcast. Which, if you want to hear that, if you head over to our iTunes feed or our whatever you want to call it, you can go up there and find the Sleepaway Camp retrospective. Or I think you can go to deadairpodcast.net/blog, and there's a link to the Sleepaway Camp retrospective series, and you can find all of those episodes. We watched all of them, including the super horrible Sleepaway Camp 4. Survivor.
You still need to let me see that because I was
want to talk about boring, dude. That movie is shit. If we have a shitty movie night, like in a couple of weeks or whatever, like we can watch that movie, and you will be like, "Please turn this off."
Okay, can I just? You know what? You got to go on a rant a couple of weeks ago about popcorn. Can I go on a rant about this?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I want to just go back to 2002, right? So I had just seen Sleepaway Camp for the first time, right? And it was maybe a month before the DVD got released. So I'm looking around the internet. I'm looking around. I'm trying to find as much information because when I really start to like something, I want to get as much info. So I find the sleepawaycampfilms.com. And there's like a forum, and everyone's talking about it. Everyone's sharing the same interests. There's a couple people on there that like wrestling. It's my first exposure to like the horror film community, like, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I become friends with the guy on there, John Kliza. He's the one that runs that site, and he did the commentary for the Anchor Bay, and he put together the fourth disc on that Best Buy set, which was, that was just like clips from the set of Sleepaway Camp 4. And we became pretty good friends, for a couple of good years. He was actually going to help me make a prom night website that was kind of similar to his Sleepaway Camp site. So it would have been kind of like a brother sister project, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So it would have covered everything, and because even back then there were rumors that the Sleepaway Camp the prom night remake was coming. And, I was like, well, maybe I can, get a piece of that. It never materialized, and it's probably for the best. But, so we were friends for a long time, for a couple of years. And by the time Return to Sleepaway Camp came out, I had posted on, I think, like MySpace. Yeah, was it? Yeah, it was MySpace that, oh man, I just saw Sleepaway Camp or Return to Sleepaway Camp. It was a lot better than I thought. So he gets kind of upset, and he was like, well, he's Australian, so you'll have to say it in that accent. But he's like, I'm going to make the real Sleepaway Camp 4. And I'm like, John, and I say to him, I'm like, I remember this conversation. I'm like, John, it can't work that way. Return to Sleepaway Camp was officially the fourth one. It's been the fourth one that got released. He was like, no. So we got into it. He wasn't happy that, I liked this other movie more than I liked the idea of him cutting and splicing, the old 20-year-old footage, whatever it was. So then I'm like, you know what, John, whatever, and we go our separate ways. And then I find out that he releases this, which, he's been talking about this for years, even before I met him. And it turns out to just be the biggest embarrassment ever. And I'm not, I'm not like, bragging, because I had nothing to do with that. But I'm just saying, like, that is like one of the worst ideas you can do,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very curious to see it, because from what I heard, like, this, it's essentially just like chopped footage from the other movies, just with like 20 minutes or if that of, like maybe 10 minutes of like the footage that just never, got used.
It's just that footage that never got used. With
Yeah,
voiceover recorded over it. So like because that footage has no dialogue, I think,
it's
or at
dubbed.
least has almost none. So they either dubbed it or put voiceover over it, and it's just intercut with scenes from all of the other Sleepaway Camp movies.
Yeah,
and it still makes no sense. Like, I get what they were trying to do, but that dude did such a poor job of actually. I mean, if you want my full opinion, listen to that episode. But did you listen to our review?
I didn't listen. I don't think was that the one that was Return to Sleepaway Camp and The Survivor. Was it all on the same? Okay, so I think
we did. I think we did 3 episodes. I think we did part 1, and then we did 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of one movie in a way.
Yeah, essentially.
And then we did Return and The Survivor at the same time. Mostly because The Survivor, like, I don't think we could have talked about that movie on its own.
No, and you know what? Yeah, you're right. You did. But I do know for a fact he's always wanted to do movies. So in that instance, you know what? Good for him. He was able to do that. But and he's also, I think he also runs Retro Slashers, which is a great site. It really is. There's a lot of great, useful information. I'm not going to, bag on him for that. But it just, this idea has been in his head for years and years and years. And, so when he finally did it, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm terrified to see it, because, I was there when he was like trying to get it, legally done. And I think his original, I don't even remember what the original idea is, so I'm not even going to, start anything. But like, you can't do this. It's just, I don't know. it just has bad written all over it. And honestly, I think he edited the trailer on that 4th disc, where he just kind of took like a bunch of clips, and he probably, I think he just like interspliced some music, and again, it's just bad idea. It's not your vision, it's not yours. Just kind of let it go. And that was one of my arguments. But oh geez, I still want to see it though.
Well, I mean, we could watch it. You'll probably regret asking me to watch it, though.
Oh, jeez. I probably will. And you know what's funny is I remember watching the bonus disc, and I just remember thinking that it was so boring. The first time I saw it, I had posted how boring it was, and and hold on, I've got a rabbit nudging my foot. Okay. I just remember thinking it was so boring, but he made a good point, because he was like, yeah, it's no fun to be on a film set anyway. It's pretty fucking boring on that. So I'm like, all right, you know what, I'll let you have that. But it's still pretty interesting to see, that footage, and then, not knowing too much about where it was going to go. I think the story was like she was amnesic, and she was she thought she was Angela or something like that. I don't know, but it's pretty bad. This story, I think, I don't know. It's just so much crap. I still think it's funny that people consider that the fourth one when it's very, very clear that that's not the fourth one.
Well, I mean, because I don't think anybody really considers it the fourth one, do they? Like people are like legitimately like
they advertise it as it. Like John likes to advertise that as being the fourth one. He calls it the fourth Sleepaway Camp: The Survivor. Then he had another script that was called The Berserker, I think, and then that was going to compete with another Sleepaway Camp that was coming out, and it was called Reunion or something. So it's weird because there's these two websites that like feud. I can't say that they feud with each other now because I really honestly haven't talked to John in such a long time, so I don't know what his current stance on that other site is. But it was pretty pathetic, because he was always trying to like one up, another site or director or whatever, and I don't know. So this kind of, maybe that's why I'm so immune to stupidity, or maybe I'm such a magnet for stupidity, because that was kind of my first intro to the internet, or horror movies at least.
Right.
I don't know.
End rant.
Yeah, I'm done.
This is probably a good spot to take a break for a minute. What do you think? Take a break, and we'll come back, talk about what we've been watching, and then we can get into our review of Backcountry.
Yeah, that Cool as Ice though.
That Cool as Ice. That's all Chad's been watching. Week.
Just 24. It's like on Clockwork
He's got
Orange.
it on like that loop, like when you go to the fucking Stanley. Actually, Clockwork Orange is going to be at Salt City as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to look great.
But yeah, you're like the Stanley Hotel where all they do is play The Shining 24 hours a day.
I wish. It just, what would be great? That scene where he jumps over fence on his bike. Yeah. I know the guy at iMockery actually has that as a GIF, and it's awesome.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break here. So that, if you got to take a bathroom break, or go get more beer, or play with your rabbits, or do whatever you got to do.
Wrestling figures.
Take a quick break, and we'll be back in a few minutes, and we will talk about some fucking genre movies.
And that Chuck Connors, though.
Probably. Always with the Chuck Connors talk.
Yeah, we love Chuck Connors.
Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a minute.
Peace out. Bam, bam, bam.
And this is Vincent, and we're the hosts of Exorcast, a horror podcast.
The guys from The Literal Dead were gracious enough to let us come on their show and pitch ours, and we just wanted to tell you a little bit about our show.
We like to cover a lot of things from the horror underground, and really focus on films with graphic violence.
We like to do a lot of films with rape.
Lots of rape, some smut thrown in every once in a while.
Every once in a while, we'll actually review a porno.
We do review porno every so often, probably about once or twice every episode. There's some porno thrown in there. But we just think we give kind of a different take on things, and definitely keep listening to our pals at Literal Dead. But also check us out at
Exorcast.com, on Stitcher, and also on iTunes.
And if you don't, I hope your grandmother gets raped with that gauntlet thing from Death Walks.
You fuck yourself.
All right, and that was a bumper from our friends over at Exorcast, which you can check out at exorcast.com, which is our buddy Chris, a.k.a. W, and as Chad calls him, Chuck Connors, a.k.a. Chuck Connering. And sometimes the Newsfinder General, and as we talked about, they talk about all sorts of stuff. I mean, they pretty much laid it out there right there. They talk about a lot of indie horror films and weird gore movies and softcore pornography, borderline type stuff. And
excuse me,
good dudes. Talk about a lot of stuff. Funny guys, and they're our buddies, and I like their show. I listen to it every week pretty much.
So you should too.
Yeah, you should check it out. So exorcast.com. And while we're talking about podcasts and hawking those, our co-hosts here who are not with us tonight, but Mr. Sean Savage and Mr. James Harris have a new podcast that's going up. I think it's the Horror Sexy Podcast, which I think you can find it at horrorsexy.com. They were talking about putting it up today. I don't know if it went up or not.
It is up on the Facebook page currently right now. I don't think it's on. I don't know if it's on the website itself, but I know it's on the Horror Sexy
Facebook page.
Well, hopefully they get it up on the website soon, or up in like iTunes or somewhere, because I'll be damned if I'm gonna stream something from Facebook.
Well, but
they have their podcasts up there, and I don't know much about it because it's brand new. So,
you know what though? If there's ever a reason to stream something on Facebook, it's that.
There you go. So check that out, and go over and check out horrorsexy.com, which has tons of stuff from our friends like our other co-host, Jesse Bartell, James Harris. I think a bunch of other people got stuff up there. I don't know. Your stuff's up there too, right, Chad?
Yeah, I do stuff everyone as much as I can.
So lots of stuff, lots of cool people, and yeah, good place, good times. So let's talk about what we've been watching. Let's talk about some movies and stuff like that. So, Chad, I don't know. Do you want to start off, or should I start off, or how do you want to do this? Who's gonna whip it out first, Chad?
You know what? I'm gonna let you whip yours out first, motherfucker.
On the table. It's on the table, Chad.
All 2 inches.
Look at it. Enjoy it.
I need a magnifying glass.
So it's come on, Chad. Come on, Chad.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about me again.
You need a fucking microscope, is what you need for that.
Bitch, I need a telescope for mine.
Stuff that I've been watching. I don't really have a whole ton. Last weekend, after we did our podcast, I went upstairs and was like, I'm going to fucking watch The King of Kong again.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Quite possibly. It's funny because your singing that song kind of ties in a little bit to something else that I'm going to talk about in a little while because of Leonard Cohen, but I'll get to that in a minute. But King of Kong, possibly the best documentary ever made, in my opinion. I love it. I could watch that movie endlessly. I watched it twice. I watched it once on its own, and then I also watched it again with the commentary with the dudes from IGN.
I did not know there's a commentary on there.
There's 2, actually, because there's one with the filmmakers, and the one with the filmmakers is pretty serious, but then you listen to the IGN dudes, and they're basically just like making fun of Billy Mitchell and talking about him doing cocaine the entire time.
What?
So it's pretty awesome.
Stop.
No, it's awesome. Totally worth it, man. It's a great movie. I wish it was on Blu-ray, but DVD will suffice for now. So if you haven't seen The King of Kong for some fucking reason, you need to just go out and purchase it. It's worth a blind buy on its own.
Sure.
All I gotta say is Steve Wiebe, Billy Mitchell. Oh my God, the showdown of the century. And then you watch it and you're just like, that guy's a cocksucker. Like Billy Mitchell.
Oh yeah, he is. Did you
that
know
part where he walks in at the Dodge City of video games? And he walks in and he just like ignores Steve Wiebe, and Steve Wiebe's like, "Hey, Billy," and he's like, "There's some people that I don't want to spend too much time with." It's like he never talks to him or says one fucking thing to him, and it's just like you just want to punch him in his goddamn fucking perfect haired face.
You know what's funny is, did you ever see him on the MTV True Life? He's actually been in 2 other documentaries. He did a MTV True Life about gamers, and then he did the Chasing Ghosts, which was about the arcade Twin Galaxies itself.
Yeah, and they really talk about the perfect Pac-Man thing.
Yeah,
a lot on that one. Actually, Chasing Ghosts is pretty good.
It's great. I loved it. I actually saw that before I saw King of Kong.
So I've seen that. I have not seen the MTV True Life, though.
You can find it on YouTube. It's one of those older ones that before they kind of were more into like perfecting like the filming of those shows.
But dude, Billy Mitchell back in the day in the 80s looks like he came out of like one of the worst porno movies ever.
He still kind of does.
That little mustache, like. Actually, you're kind of right. He kind of looks like he's like an 80s porno guy.
Do you think that he wakes up and he thinks he's like dopest shit ever still?
I wonder how much like time he spends doing his hair when he wakes up. Because he's got a fucking mane on him, and it's like perfectly coiffed.
You think it's real?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you could have that much hair and fake it.
Yeah, that's true.
Coming from a dude who doesn't have all that much hair.
Which one? Us?
No, me.
No, well, me or you. That's what I meant.
But you shave your head though, right? Or do you shave it for a
No,
reason?
I know. I shave it.
Yeah. Exactly. So I watched that, and then my buddy James, well, our buddy James, came over, and we brewed some beer and drank some beer.
Yeah.
And while we were waiting for something to happen with the brewing, I was talking about something, and we were listening to rap music, and I was like, dude, have you ever seen that Notorious B.I.G. movie? And he's like, nah. So I put on that movie Notorious, and we watched that. And it was ridiculous because it was like, well, number one, the chick, I think her name is Notori Naughton, who's in it, who plays Little Kim, is naked a whole bunch, and she's super hot. So that was awesome. Yeah, but then they had that dude playing Biggie, and he's just like breathing into the microphone a lot, and it was it's a decent enough movie. It's not great, but it's good. It's better than it should be, probably. So if you like Notorious B.I.G., you should watch it, especially to watch the dude who plays Puff Daddy because it's kind of funny. And then Anthony Mackie plays Tupac in the movie, so it's kind of hilarious that they have this comedian playing Tupac, and it's just pretty ridiculous. So check that out if you are into hip-hop music from the 90s and stuff like that. And other than that, really, mostly the only other thing that I've been watching is Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh, dear.
Because I wanted to rewatch everything to get caught back up because I went to see Furious 7, which I'll talk about in a minute. But
no, great.
It just really solidified the fact that rewatching all those movies this time around, I like all of them even more. Like on rewatch, like every time I rewatch the series, I like all of them better, including Too Fast, Too Furious, which I initially really did not like at all. And I really enjoyed it this time. And the only thing I can think of is because by the time you get to like Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6, those movies are just so fun because the series goes from being like a movie about race car stuff to just being like an 80s action movie with just like an ensemble cast. So it's kind of like Ocean's 11 with cars.
Oh, dear.
Dude, it's so fun. And when The Rock shows up and you're just like, oh my God, the fucking Rock is awesome in this movie. He's fantastic in those movies. Like, I know I realize you hate and you don't ever want to watch these Fast and Furious movies.
I don't hate it. I just have zero interest. That's the thing. I think that it's been misconstrued that I hate it, but I just don't have interest. That's it.
Well, let me just say, especially after watching Furious 7 the other day, that you should at least give them a chance at some point because I really, truly believe that at least Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6 you would totally enjoy because The Rock is a badass, and quite honestly, like besides Pain and Gain, those two movies are probably his best performances. And he's just super awesome as just like this no bullshit like fucking dude who's just going around, and like the fights whenever he's fighting like Vin Diesel basically is what happens in Fast 5, and then in Fast and Furious 6 it's like him. It's like basically like a WWF tag team match with like The Rock and Vin Diesel fighting like some other giant fucking guy and some other guy, like I don't even remember, but there's like one point where like Vin Diesel like picks this dude up and then like The Rock like fucking like elbow drops him, and then Vin Diesel like headbutts the guy, and it's just ridiculous. They're fighting on this fucking airplane that's moving while it's going to take off, and it's just crazy. And they got like Ludacris in the movie, and fucking Gal Gadot, who's the new Wonder Woman. Like she's in
Gal Gadot. Okay.
Series 6, and she's hot and she's awesome. And just those movies are awesome, like really awesome. And I think especially Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6 are fucking, I love them. Like, quite frankly, I really love them. And, you know, I got to Furious 7 and I watched that this week, and that's the new one that's out in theaters that made like a fucking gazillion dollars last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It made like $150 million domestic, and made like, I think it was 340 something million worldwide in the first weekend. That's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
That doesn't happen anymore. And you know what? I was you know what's funny is I was on the Plug Underscoop Fire podcast this past week, and one of the hosts actually brought up that, you know, have you noticed that no one is spoiling the movie, you know, at all? Like, no one is really saying, oh my gosh, you know, they're not doing quotes. They're just saying, you know, if you're a fan, stick around for the last 5 minutes, and that's all they say. You know, and that's pretty. This is I think that's pretty damn impressive.
Well, yeah, nobody's really spoiling it at all because, well, there's not a lot to spoil about it, number one, except for that ending. But everybody's basically just being like exactly what I'm going to say, which is, especially after watching all these movies and then rewatching them all recently, and I've been a fan for like a few years now. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't get into the series until maybe like, I think it was like 2012 or something. But even since then, just watching these movies and getting into them and just really enjoying the whole franchise, it was really sad what happened with Paul Walker. And this movie manages to not only continue to like fucking one up the ridiculousness that's happening in the series to the point where this movie is just like a whole bunch of excuses to have a whole bunch of action sequences. So it really does feel like an 80s fucking action movie in some way. And they managed to do it. Like, Jason Statham's character doesn't really have any bearing on it except for he shows up like just to start fights.
Which is essentially what he does in every movie.
But like, he just like, they'll be doing something and then he just literally will just show up and then ridiculous shit happens. And it's out of control. And Kurt Russell is in the movie, and he's fucking awesome.
As
he's
always,
walking around talking about Belgian ales the whole time, like over and over again.
What?
And oh, dude, it's like, I can't even explain it. And like, The Rock is only in like a little bit of the movie because apparently he was doing that Hercules movie at the time, and so he couldn't really be in the movie. But then because of what happened with Paul Walker, they had to delay the release, so they were able to shoot a whole bunch of stuff with him afterwards and put it into the movie. And he has like the best sequence in the fucking movie. And I'm not going to spoil anything.
Can't.
But the only thing that I will say is, if you ever thought that watching The Rock wrestle with a drone would, like, it is the best fucking thing that I've seen in a long time. Because
I believe it.
Like, the last 10 minutes of that movie, he just comes in and just fucking does the most ridiculous shit. There is a scene in this movie where he flexes his arm and breaks it out of a cast and then rips the rest of it off with his bare hands. And then he goes from there to go fight drones barehanded. Like, this is some like 80s action movie bullshit that's going on, and like The Rock walking around with a Gatling gun. Like, this is some Schwarzenegger era shit, except for he is like way better of an actor than Schwarzenegger ever was.
Oh yeah.
And the ending of the movie is pretty perfect for what they do for the series. I mean, there's a few spots in there where there's some CGI Paul Walker stuff going on that's a little bit odd, but it's still super emotional, and I was like tearing up while I was watching it. And you know, quite frankly, like, without saying what actually happens, they do a perfect send off to the point where they're obviously not going to end the series now, but they could take all of these characters and just decide to not bring any of them back, and it would be a perfect like 7 movie trifecta. But it's really interesting the way they do everything. So
as a fan, did you walk away and think, oh, okay, you know, I'm definitely ready for another one?
I would watch another one, yes, but and part of the reason is this series is one that's been able to reinvent itself a bunch of times, because it started off as basically just Point Break with street racing cars. The original movie was basically just a ripoff of the Point Break plot, where you have like an undercover detective who goes to infiltrate this ring of people that are like racing cars and robbing truckers. And then he ends up becoming friends with them, and then you get that weird blurred line and like you know what I mean? You've seen Point Break, right?
It's been so long since I've seen that. That's the one with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great fucking movie, but it's just like it is basically a giant ripoff of Point Break with lots of terrible 90s or late 90s, early 2000s like new metal stuff over it, and it went from that to just like they did that, and then they lost a bunch of the people that were in it, and then Too Fast, Too Furious was like John Singleton doing it and putting like a complete urban spin on it, and that's when they put like Ludacris in there, and Tyrese showed up. And dude, Tyrese Gibson is probably my favorite character in the series, and I hated him when I first watched Too Fast, Too Furious.
Sure.
But by the time that like they get to like Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6, he is the funniest motherfucker because he's just doing these ad libs in the movie. And even in 7, he is just fucking awesome. Like, but then like that movie made a bunch of money, but then for whatever reason they decided to do Tokyo Drift, which has none of the characters in it.
Is that the third one?
Yep.
Okay, you know what I remember about that is I tend to remember Nick Hogan like trying to get onto that movie, and he was like auditioning for it, and then I guess he failed. That was like before his accident, and I'm not bringing that up because it's wrestling. I'm bringing it up because that's the extent of my
Hogan knows best, brother.
But like that's as much as I know about the series. Is that he couldn't he got rejected to do the third one.
Well, it's a good movie. It's different, but that's where they brought in Justin Lin.
Who's that?
He's a director, and he basically is an Asian director, and he came in and he did Tokyo Drift. He did Fast and Furious, Fast 5, and Fast and Furious 6. So he did like 4 of them. But basically he came in and made that movie, and it was pretty good. And then he came back and did Fast and Furious, which brought back the original cast and made a shit ton of money. And then they did Fast 5, where they merged all of the characters from all of the fucking movies up. So they basically were doing like some Marvel Universe type shit before Marvel was like really off the ground. They were already kind of doing this weird. So it's kind of got that weird comic book world in it, where it's just like some random character from. It's kind of like you. So you like Saw, right?
Yeah, I do.
That's another one where you watch it and you're like, well, necessarily like that series isn't necessarily great, but then if you rewatch them all, you're kind of like, wow, like it's so much better when you rewatch them all in succession, because they have like weird random characters that showed up in like part 1 that show back up in like part 4, and they become like a big deal. And that's what they do with this series, except it's an action movie instead of a
horror movie. Yeah. All right.
So it is good stuff, and you know, Fast and Furious 7 is not as good. I think Fast 5 is probably my favorite, followed by Fast and Furious 6, followed by Furious 7, followed by Fast and Furious, followed by Tokyo Drift, and Too Fast, Too Furious, and the original, The Fast and the Furious, which is weird because they all have different names, right? Yeah. So there's like The Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, Furious 7. But it is so good, and if you watch them all, it's so fun. And I'm probably going to go see Furious 7 again. I might even go see it in IMAX just because it is crazy. And let me just say, James Wan doing this movie, number one, good for him. This movie shitload of money. He can pretty much do whatever the fuck he wants now. And apparently people are talking about him doing Aquaman for DC now, which I'm not really all that into those comic book movies, but I would go watch it. But that dude, I love the fact that he made a bunch of money for this and he's doing great. And I think he did a good job with the movie. But those racing scenes that he did in this movie, there is so much upskirt photography in this movie. It is fanboy. Dude, it's out of control. There is like just straight up, like I swear you can see some camel toes going on. This is like a Chad movie.
Oh dear. Some camel toes and some butts.
So
all it's missing is the Saskas.
So I highly recommend that people check out Furious 7 if you're a fan of the series, and if you haven't watched any of the Fast and the Furious movies, watch them. And I'll be honest, I thought that they all sounded like stupid movies before, which is why I never watched them. All the way going back to 2001 when they first came out. But if you watch them and you watch all of them and you get to part 7 and you are not ready to just bawl your eyes out like a fucking baby by the end of that movie, then you're just not human.
Do you have to be a fan of that movie to kind of get, or do you think that people are just going to be, do you think like let's say if I went into it and I'm not a fan, do you think even I would be, I would get why this is so emotional, and do you think you just?
Do you mean if you were to only watch Furious 7? I don't know, because like I said, I was not a fan going into the series originally, but by the end of it, I was a fan, and then by the second time that I rewatched all the movies, I was like even more of a fan because they do such a good job at just making you live with these characters that you care about them.
Okay.
And by the time you get to that last one, and by the time that you've watched all the movies multiple times and everything, you are it's just really, that you're never going to get the full team again.
So it would be like if they made a Justice League movie and they killed off Batman, or they made Batman go away, and you kind of knew that this was kind of like the last Batman. So is that kind of what it would be like? Is kind of what you're kind of saying? That's kind of the best way I'm.
Well, yes and no. I mean, Vin Diesel was always kind of he's kind of the main guy. So I mean, they could keep going on without Paul Walker, but it's just Paul Walker's character and some of the stuff that happens in it, like without getting the spoilers, is like important. But he's a likable dude in the movies, and he's a major part. And what happened is just so sad and tragic to begin with. And I mean, there's a lot of parallels between what happens in the movies and what happens in real life and stuff. And it's just, in order to do this movie, they had to use some CGI. They had to have his brothers come in as stunt doubles and stuff. So
I heard about that. That was kind of weird.
Well, for the last part of the movie, there's a bunch of spots where you just see him from behind, or you don't see his face necessarily. But the fight scenes and stuff are just so good, and there's just like so much carnage going on screen, and it's not bloody because it's not an R-rated movie, but for a fucking PG-13 movie, it's out of control. And like I said, I love the characters. Like I love Ludacris. I love Tyrese in the movie. I love The Rock.
How's Ludacris as an actor?
Dude, I like him a lot. Ever since I saw him in Hustle and Flow, which is like a movie that I absolutely love.
Which one was Hustle and Flow?
Hustle and Flow is the one where it was Terrence Howard and Ludacris, and it's 3 6 Mafia did the score.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
They won the Oscar for it.
It's hard out here to be a film.
Yeah.
And it is, dude, it is fucking brilliant. Like, and then that dude went on to do the Footloose remake, and it was like, what the fuck are you doing? He did Black Snake Moan, though, which is really awesome.
All right. I know which one you're talking about.
Brewer. And then he never did anything else that was worth watching.
Probably doesn't have to.
but Hustle and Flow is fantastic. But Ludacris is in that, and he was in, he's been in the Fast and the Furious movies. But like, really, what it comes down to is these movies capture that feel of those '80s action movies that are just fun, and just comedy and action and ridiculousness going on, and you really like, it's like, so imagine watching like a more modern day like Beverly Hills Cop or something. Where it's like you have fun watching all this stuff and you like the characters, and it's not believable at all. Like, and that's why it was kind of annoying me, because all these people and all these articles were talking about the realism. Like, they were like breaking down and trying to be like, so, you know what? I hate to break the news to you, but that scene where the car goes between two skyscrapers couldn't really happen. And it's like, no fucking shit. Like, none of the stuff in this movie could happen, but I don't give a shit. It's still fucking awesome to watch that car go through one skyscraper, fly across to the other one, and then do it on another one. And that scene is fucking phenomenal. Like, it is out of control. And like, Jason Statham is there, and like Tyrese is doing some shit, and there's like hot women around. Like, it's just it's an all around good time. And you know what? Like, it's pretty long. Like I said, it's not the best in the series, but it is good. And I mean, especially considering the fact that I had absolutely zero interest in watching any of these movies initially, and then I finally was just like, fuck it, I will watch them, because I picked them all up for like $5 a piece like a few years ago. And they came out on Blu-ray, and everybody was telling me how awesome they were, so I dropped like whatever it was, $25 to get the whole series time, because they were up to Fast 5. And then I watched them and I was like, damn, these are actually good. So I highly recommend them to people, and I think you can get like the first 6 of them in a box set for like $30 now or something. So it's totally worth it. And then you can go see Furious 7. And other than that, the only other thing that I watched was have you seen the people talking about that Scientology documentary?
I have, but I haven't been able to see it. I want
Going
to.
Clear, which is oh my god, dude. That shit is some fucking creepy ass shit.
I do want to see it, yeah.
Like, it is just out of control. Like, you watch this movie and it's all these people that were involved with it, and when you find out all the stuff that's actually was happening behind the scenes and stuff, it is just it, like, I hate to say, like, whatever, but religion, like, as a religion, like, this whole thing is just awful. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know how else to say it, except for you basically see Tom Cruise saluting and almost in a Sig Heil motion a picture of L. Ron Hubbard and John Travolta talking about it, and it's basically just like a cult with rich people.
Jeez.
And then when you hear about what the Scientology people like were doing, like the people who were running the quote unquote Church of Scientology were doing to the people that were even like members and stuff, it's just like it is criminal. And the fact that they're basically just evading taxes and not paying taxes on anything because they're counted as a religion, quote unquote, is just disturbing. And I can speak from some experience, because when I was in Boston, several years ago, they had a Church of Scientology that was out there in Boston, and we went by it. And of course, I'm like, actually, at one point in time, I was in this instrumental band that I had going on with our buddy James, and we were just doing weird, like, instrumental space music. We were called the Xenu Incident, and basically all it was us doing like weird, trippy, like spacey music with samples of L. Ron Hubbard over him. And so I was all like, yo, like there's a Church of Scientology there. And I was taking pictures of it. And there was these fucking guys in like weird, like not suits, but they were in like almost like naval outfits.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people wear like almost like military uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in there and they were watching, and I was taking pictures, and they started following us around afterwards. Yeah. It was pretty creepy. And after watching this documentary, I'm like, fucking hell no.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that again. So that is available on HBO. I think it's on HBO Now and HBO Go, and it might be on VOD. I don't know. But if it's not on there, like, you'll probably get a chance to watch it soon, and I think people should watch it just to understand this whole ridiculousness that is Scientology, which is basically the rantings of a madman who somehow figured out how to make a bunch of money and not pay taxes on it, and it turned into this horrible cult that all sorts of Hollywood people, including, I think Eddie Murphy's in it. And
why is he in there?
Well, not in the documentary, but I think he's a Scientologist.
Oh, didn't know. Good for him.
There's a lot of those motherfuckers that are into this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the Tom Cruise thing is just like, oh my god, 'cause he like don't get me wrong, I like Tom Cruise quite a bit. I like him in movies, and I hear him talk, and a lot of times I'm like, oh, he seems like he's all right. But this guy is all about Scientology.
You know what? I will say this: I'm not the biggest Tom Cruise fan. Even if I don't agree with Scientology, I think I think it's kind of admirable that he is so he has found something that he is so passionate about, and he doesn't make apologies about it.
Well, but when you watch this movie, you realize that like a lot of the reasons that people get into the shit, there's a reason behind it, right? But it's like almost like anybody who goes gung ho on these things, though, is they have like some sort of hook, and the reason is because they're like, it makes you feel good about yourself, and it makes you feel like you belong. But then at the end of the day, there's all this nefarious shit going on that you get sucked into, and then you kind of can't get out of it.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
When you hear the stories about the people talking about how the Church of Scientology was telling them to abort their babies, and then you hear them talk about the Church of Scientology taking their children away from them and putting them in this quote-unquote cadet school where they left the babies in these urine-soaked cribs, and they were super sick, and basically the church was like separating the babies from the mothers because they were like, your ultimate duty is to the quote-unquote church and not to your children.
Yeah, that's a little...
It's fucked. So I think people should check it out, and it's just going to make you angry probably. And yeah.
And can I just say this? Some people may not know. I love religions. I love all kinds of religions. So, Jeff, you know what I mean. And
I don't give a fuck about religion as long as nobody's getting hurt.
Yeah,
but that's the problem. Is like this is like some serious shit where they're like going after people and poisoning people's dogs and doing horrible shit to people.
I just hate to see people who are like. And I promise this is going to be the only time I really get like this deep and serious on this show. But I hate for people who are looking for answers, and they look at this and then they think that this is the only kind of perception of religion. That's what bothers me the most of it. I mean, and that's all I'm going to say, because if there are people out there listening that do Scientology, I'm not going to like I'm not going to bag on you for doing it.
Oh, I will though.
Oh, I know you will.
I cannot. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'd be surprised if there's anybody out there who's listening to this that's actually into
Right.
Scientology.
Still.
Because if there is, then that means they got some money probably, because
Mhm.
it's basically a religion that's built around money completely.
Mhm.
But I mean, you know, my whole philosophy on life is don't be an asshole.
Yeah, that's it. Don't be an asshole, and you're
I don't-
good as gold.
I don't give a shit what anybody's religion is as long as you're not an asshole. Because
Yeah.
quite frankly, the whole idea of alien space races freezing people, taking them and dropping them in space planes into volcanoes and then blowing them up with fucking hydrogen bombs is not quite all that far off from all the shit that's in the Bible. Talk about like in terms of believability. That's no offense to anybody out there, because I know I got a lot of friends that are really into religions of but at the same time, you don't. Well, I mean, the Catholic Church hasn't had really a great history either.
Yeah.
But you know, it's one of those things though where it's, I guess every religion kind of has some of this, but I've met way more Christians that are a lot less creepy and threatening than some of the Scientology people, because Scientology, I basically, like I said, the way that I equate it is what they talk about in the documentary, where it is a cult. It is a cult, but it is also a cult that is like profit driven, instead of like even like Jonestown, where like that dude was crazy and he did a bunch of heinous shit and a bunch of bad stuff happened, but that guy was also like,
he was fucked.
Well, he wasn't doing it for profit.
He was just doing it because he was fucked.
He was just doing it because he was crazy. And like, I could almost get behind the Jonestown cult more than I could behind Scientology, where I really feel like it's just a bunch of people profiting off of the misery. And it's like, you have to really watch this to see it. But yeah, fuck that. That's all I got to say.
All right.
And that's the last I'll talk about religion.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So that's all I've been watching.
All right.
So you can talk about what have you been watching? The Mr. T
Treat your mama
Respect Your
right.
Mother video. Mother's Day is coming up next month.
Oh, I know what I'm getting my mom. I'm gonna send her a picture of Mr. T singing "Treat Your Mama Right."
Treat your mama right.
Treat her right. I can do the whole. I can't do.
You've been getting really excited about fucking I Pity the Tool.
I have. I really have.
Mr. T doing a home improvement show.
Oh, that's gonna be so badass. That's gonna be so awesome.
Oh
I
my
can't
god.
wait. Oh, it's gonna be so good. So what have I been watching? Good question. I have been watching. Hold on. Oh fuck! Let me just take a big yawn. Whew. Okay, what have I been watching? I'm exhausted, dude. I watched Whiplash last night, which is a terrific movie. J.K. Simmons was just amazing in that movie. Like, he was just the perfect. Like, I had never seen anything other than, is it Law and Order that he's in?
Well, he was on Oz, is where I know him from.
Okay. So he was in, I don't know, but he was just so fantastic in this role because, you know, you see him like interacting with people, you know, before he goes into the music room, and then, you know, I mean, he's normal, he's calm, and then all of a sudden, once he gets in that zone of, you know, being, you know, the music director or the conductor, all of a sudden he's a perfectionist and, you know, he's an asshole. So it's really good, and I thought the music was fantastic too, and whatever awards were given to that movie, I think were very well deserved, you know. So I definitely think that that's one of the best movies I've seen in the past year or so.
Yeah.
Everyone did great. Everyone in fact, it wasn't just him. I think everyone did fantastic in that role.
That Miles Teller, though.
Oh yeah, yo, the bloody hand though.
Dude, not even just that, man. Like, fucking Miles Teller's, he goes through some shit in that movie. Like, that movie was like, think I think like my number 3 movie of last year. Like it was my favorite non-genre movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love J.K. Simmons. I think he completely deserved it. I think Miles Teller was awesome. I think that the music is just like out of control.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really good.
And I love jazz music. I know that that's probably going to surprise a lot of people, but I do love jazz music. So, quite frankly, I really got into the music. I'm definitely gonna, I'm gonna definitely go on iTunes and download the soundtrack. So, it was just a, oh my gosh.
You're so excited over there, Chad.
I'm so exhausted. But it was definitely a great movie. We had heard a lot about it, and I for one am very happy I saw it.
And then I commented on your girlfriend's post because I thought it was yours because the picture looks like the same picture that you have sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
And I didn't realize it was hers. I saw you tweeting about it, and then I just saw a big picture of you with things, so I clicked on it and commented on it. And she's like, because I was like, I told you, bruh. And she was just like, you do realize that this isn't Chad. And I was just like, respond with picture of cat on computer.
Yeah, she was, and it's, well, what's funny is my girlfriend actually knew, for those who don't know, my girlfriend actually knew you before she even met me. I guess you guys met on like AIM or
yeah, well, like
MySpace or something.
this is way back in the MySpace days.
Yeah.
Like
So
10 years ago.
So I mean, it does. When you had ended up like, she comes to me and she says, Jeff's posting a picture of a cat on a computer. I'm like, you're surprised? You've known him longer than I have. She's like, yeah, good point. So.
Well, because she's like, you do realize that, and that's why I was just like, cat on computer. I had nothing for it. I'm just like, other than being like, oops, my bad.
It was actually very funny. I was dying the whole time. I was just
animated too, and the cat's like, ooh, and I'm like, I got like a ton of cats running around my house. I was blaming on the cat. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
So anyway, yeah, good movie.
Oh yeah, and the other thing I watched was today. Marvel's Daredevil hit Netflix.
Oh snap!
Oh shit! Now here's the deal. I am a longtime comic book fan. So it's always amazed me that Daredevil has never really gotten its, credit because it is one of the. Excuse me.
I don't even want to know what just happened.
I just farted. You can't hear those, can you?
No, dude, I could hear that.
Oh, okay, shit. So,
oh my god,
shit. You could hear that? Shut up.
Yeah, it was like. Oh man, it's out of control.
Oh shit. So, Daredevil's one of the original comic books, or one of the original Marvel comics from the '60s. So it's always kind of driven me crazy that I'm not the biggest Daredevil fan, but I've never understood why people don't hold him to the same regard of like Spider-Man or Captain America, and then
because of the Ben Affleck movie.
Well, yeah, and I think that that's it. And he hasn't always been like Marvel's most marketed character, but this definitely will have people taking him seriously. Like I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that have not seen it yet. So I'm not going to go too into detail, but it definitely captures the character and everything about the story, the his origin. I mean, everything's just done right. So, if you, I'm only one episode in. So I mean, I'm just blown away already. And my favorite Marvel character has always been the Punisher. It's like watching kind of. I'm just waiting for the Punisher to kind of show up because it's very dark. It's very in your face. It's very gritty. It's very. It just captivates you. So I mean, it definitely needs to be. It needs to be seen, and I definitely hope that this gives Daredevil fans what they've been waiting for because. I mean, like I said, Daredevil's been a character for like 50 fucking years. So, I mean, shouldn't he be given the same respect that like other characters have. So, I'm just very, very happy that this has come out and a lot of people are enjoying it. I enjoyed it, and like I said, hopefully it leads to a Punisher series.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been watching.
All right. Good deal. So, I think it's probably about an appropriate time then to take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about Backcountry. What do you think?
Yeah, that's fine as long as I'm as long as I'm not falling asleep just yet.
Well, not to spoil anything, but I don't think there's going to be a super long discussion on that particular movie.
No, there's not.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'll go grab some water. So yeah, we can do that.
All right, so let's take a quick break, and we will be back, and we will talk about that Backcountry, though. Don't go.
All right.
We'll talk to you.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Mommy!
Mummer.
Morning! Go tonight!
Yo.
Your canoe will be right down there by the water. Need a map?
No, I know this part well. I'm not gonna need it.
Based on a true story.
That way.
This is the way.
Trying to turn me on right now?
No. You just walking by, or she invited me up for a chat? Give BACKCOUNTRY Eco Tours. Sure you don't need to go.
I already have one.
Lucky man, Alex. Live in the house next time.
I said I'm sorry. Look good? Alex,
I don't understand.
this can't be it, right? Can you look at me, please?
Just let me think. Let me think.
We don't have a map. We don't have a cell phone. We are in the middle of nowhere.
What is that? Oh, that's acorns. It's falling from the trees on a tent. It's not an acorn.
Whoa. All right, Edward.
Ah, there. Well, and we're back.
That was the trailer for BACKCOUNTry. That's what we're going to talk about now. A movie that stars Missy Peregrine, Jeff Roop, and Eric Balfour. Oh man, and yeah, you know, I guess just for the uninitiated, for anybody out there who's listening who hasn't seen the movie, we won't be spoiling it. We will maybe have a quick spot at the end where we talk about spoilers. I don't know, but we will try to keep
not
our
even
review.
worth it. Let's be fair.
You're probably right. I mean, to be honest, it was well, I don't want to get into my opinion of the movie just yet, but it's essentially about a couple who go backpacking someplace that's not in the U.S. I don't think they ever necessarily say where they are, but they measure the speeds in kilometers. So it's not the U.S. because we're the only fucking country in this entire place that doesn't use the metric system.
I just assumed that it was like in New Jersey or something.
This is New Jersey. So what you're
Shout
saying
out,
basically
shout out to the sexy armpit.
New Jersey is an armpit, all right.
Oh dear.
But it's basically a couple that go camping out there, and they're like hiking, camping, and then bad shit happens. And supposedly based on a true story. But we'll get into that.
Wait. Stop. Back it up. So when I heard based on a true story, that was not you?
No.
Shut up.
Oh, no, that was me just then, but it was on the screen at the time. I was reading off of the thing. You didn't watch the movie? You didn't see that thing at the very beginning? Like they show the title card?
No.
And then it goes in a few minutes, and then all of a sudden it pops up and it says based on a true story? Like it literally puts it in the middle of the movie. Not literally in the middle of the movie, but it literally puts it within the first like 10 minutes of the movie. It just pops up on the screen.
I feel like it just doesn't matter.
And we'll talk about that because I have a lot of issues with a movie that says based on a true story, but then at the end has a disclaimer that says that the events in the film are not based on real life and all persons and things in there, any semblance to it is coincidental, which is hilarious because it says based on a true story, and then the thing at the very end of the movie says no, this was not based on a true story. So I don't know if it was, but if it was obviously enough that they changed everything about everything. So maybe the whole movie is just based on the story of a couple people that go to the woods and something happens, which, well, guess what? We've already had a whole bunch of movies where that happens. But essentially, yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to get into the plot of it because there's not a whole lot of plot around the movie.
I can do that for you.
Well,
this movie sucks. That's the plot. This movie fucking sucks.
I'm not gonna go that far.
No, I am. I'm sorry. You know what? This movie is fucking terrible. Like, it's just, I'm sorry. Look.
Let's tell us how you really feel, Chad.
It was okay. No, look, I can deal with bad movies. We all know that, you know, I do a lot of joking. But this was no laughing matter. I mean,
Chad's got those jokes.
Yo, I got them jokes, though.
I got those jokes, son.
But it's just, this movie, you know what? I'm just going to start it off now. Look, it did not establish any characters that I cared for. It didn't set up any character that I was going to be like, oh, okay. I hope that you know, that they make it. I hope that, you know, they survive at the end of this because I know it's a horror movie. There was none of that. I mean, we just see this we just see this boring couple, you know, just kind of at the beginning of the movie and kind of cookie cutter, you know, and then we just, you know, one thing leads to another. They're in the woods, and then they're uncomfortable, and then it's just like,
next thing you know, that dude is just whipping his cock out.
Exactly.
He's
in
just
your
like,
face.
Suck it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. This movie just started off wrong for me, you know, and it just, I don't know. It just felt just so, it just, I'm having an aneurysm just thinking about it.
Dude, you are. You can't even speak right now.
I can't. This is probably the most boring movie you've ever made me watch.
You're so upset.
I'm very upset. I'm very upset at this.
Chad's like, I lost a whole hour and 20 minutes of my life because of you.
Motherfucker.
See, you should have just listened to me, and we could have just reviewed Furious 7. You would have gotten a whole lot more watching The Rock wrestling drones.
Probably.
Seriously, that San Andreas, though.
Oh, yo, word up.
I don't know what that movie's about, but I hope it's just The Rock wrestling drones for the entire fucking movie. I will watch the fuck out of that.
You know what we should just do for the next... yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right.
I should probably at least talk about my opinion.
Yeah, please do.
Because you just pooped all over everything.
I really did. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're just so angry, so bitter tonight. But you just like come right out of the gates. Don't even really get into the discussion, and Chad just like, fuck this movie. Mic drop. I'm out. Well, I don't quite think it's as bad as you do. I don't think it's anything special. I was able to guesstimate where everything was going to go for the most part, and I think, quite frankly, I was a little bit looking forward to it because, I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler if you've seen any of the promotional materials. There's a fucking bear in this movie, and all of the shit, like Dread Central, like there's a quote from Dread Central in the trailer, and it's like, does for the woods what Jaws did for the water. And I'm like, oh man, this fucking bear is going to be coming after these people. It's going to be awesome. And then you watch it and you're like, the bear is only like kind of in there for like, it's obviously an important part of it. But that fucking bear is only in like 5 minutes of the movie, if even.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a spoiler, really. I mean, you know, but I was able to be like, okay, well, this is what's going to kind of happen, and what I thought was going to happen pretty much happened. I just wasn't necessarily expecting Eric Balfour with his ponytail and his delightful mustache.
His rapiness.
Yeah, exactly. But yet, by the end of the movie, he's somehow less creepy. All I gotta say is Eric Balfour holding women's underwear. That happens in this movie. And he's also like using this crazy accent that you're just like, what is going on here?
It's not his real accent, right?
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like all the shit that you were saying was boring at the beginning of the movie. I was looking at it and I was like, well, this is some decent character development in a way. But I could tell right from the get-go what that dude was planning to do without spoiling, quote unquote, anything. I could tell what he was going to do. And then I could also tell what was going to happen. And I was like, oh, well, this is going to happen. And they plant some stuff towards the beginning where they're having some conversations, and everything that's in there is basically every line of dialogue that's in there is dropped for a reason for later in the movie. And it's just utterly predictable. That's not always a bad thing, but quite frankly, what I wanted from this movie was not what I got from this movie, and what I wanted from this movie was like a bear stalking people. And you don't really get that. you kind of get a little bit of it, and there's one scene in particular that did make me cringe quite a bit. And without getting into details, there's one scene that's pretty fucked up. Like pretty fucked up if you really think about it. And you know, quite frankly, I'm not one of those dudes who wants to go camping anyway. So maybe if you're one of those people who goes camping all the time, this movie might bother you more. But this movie only did for me like to basically be like, I just really don't like camping. And that's about it. But you know, I don't think it offered a whole lot in the way of new material for the genre, so to speak. So and I could see where people would find it boring, you know. I mean, there is some character development that's in there, but mostly it's just that chick being on her phone and that guy complaining about it. So it's like, okay, I get the idea. They're dating. She's attached to her phone, which is what most women are. I mean, let's be honest, right? Most girls are kind of on their fucking phones.
I'm on my phone all the time too. So
yeah, so you're basically she was you in this movie.
Oh, shut up!
What? I mean, come on.
No, you're right. Probably, maybe that's why I hated it so much.
Chad's just like, I just was, but she's much more attractive than you. No offense, Chad.
Oh yeah, she's hot. You know what? Let me say this about this. Is there's so many in the woods. This is the thing that I will say. There's so many of those in the woods horror movies, and you know, there's only, I guess, so many things that we can see. I can't really think of the last time we saw a backwoods horror movie where the bear, it was nature that was the thing killing people. So I will give it that. I will give it that.
Grizzly Rage, though.
Yeah, exactly.
David Dakota.
Oh, that's my boy. That's my buddy.
That movie is almost better than this, and that movie is literally just a fucking bear, like chasing after these people while they're in a jeep and shit. And the bear is like fucking. It's like Jaws with a bear in the woods, and it's terrible, but it's way more exciting than this movie.
Yeah, and I think that's what the other thing was. I didn't feel like there was any drama or excitement.
Not
really. I don't think that there was any suspense, any build-up.
Well, there was some drama, but there wasn't a whole lot of build-up because, I mean, well, you know shit's going to go bad, right? I mean, you know it. It's the nature. But I think the problem is the shit doesn't really go bad in this movie until past the 1 hour mark. And when the movie's only like an hour and 30.
I gotta close a window. I'm sorry to do this because I think someone's outside like shitting their pants. Because it smells like some dirty farts, and I know it's not me. Okay, go ahead.
You just like completely derailed my thought there talking about dirty farts, but oh god, I can't even remember what I was saying now.
I'm sorry.
Dude, you and your dirty fart talk. Quite frankly, it doesn't really build up at all. It's because you kind of know where it's headed. So there's all this spot. There's all this character development, but you really only have about 20 minutes worth of actual action, I guess, in the film. And it's that last 20 minutes, and it's highly predictable and fairly uneventful. And again, I can't really go much more into it without going into spoiler territory. But I will say that, you know, like I said, that last 20 minutes of the film doesn't really deliver. And quite frankly, all of the character development that's in there in the beginning hour of the movie that's supposed to set up the fact that you are going to actually give a fuck about what happens, it doesn't work because I didn't care. Like, I knew where they were going, and I didn't really necessarily feel anything except for the fact that there is, like I said, one scene where I did cringe a little bit. Because it's kind of fucked up. And you know, from that aspect, the stuff with the bear is done pretty well. But ultimately, this movie's not really about the bear. And that's kind of where I had the problem, because I saw all these quotes that were from like Dread Central and stuff that were like, you know, does for Jaws, does for the woods with Jaws. But I'm like, this is not a movie about a bear coming after people. Like, the bear is there, but it's just a piece of it. And, you know, I guess that's kind of a little bit of my problem with it. But so I thought it was good. I didn't hate it. You hated it, it sounds like.
I really did. And honestly, want to just say this right now. John Squires just posted that, you know, he liked it. And I'm sure there are people that do like it. I am not going to hate anybody for liking this. This is just all my opinion. And this is just how I saw the movie for me. I mean, personally, I just couldn't get into this one. And I don't know. It just wasn't.
I was worried you weren't even gonna fucking watch it because you were like, dude, I'm 10 minutes in and this fucking movie sucks my ass. And I was like, oh hell no, you need to fucking watch this movie, because if I'm the only goddamn person who watches the movie, then we can't have a podcast episode about said movie.
You know what's funny is, honestly, if I've made it through, what was The Sweet Blood of Jesus, if I made it through that,
come on, this is better than The Sweet Blood of Jesus.
But that's what I'm saying. If I'm willing to, you know, go through that, I'm pretty much willing to go through anything to do this show. But here's the deal. And this is what people may not know, is our router was acting kind of funky, and my girlfriend decided to go unplug it. And I was like 10 minutes away from ending the movie, so I just kind of took that as a sign, and I was like, no, you know what, I'm pretty good.
Well, you know, it's like I said. I mean, I told you what happens in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me at all.
And it's because it is fairly predictable. And that's not always a bad thing, like I said. So I'm not saying that in a detrimental way, as in to say. And I'm sorry, I'm just getting a little bit off course because I can hear my son stomping around upstairs because it's about that time where he wakes up and then goes into the other room. And he gets in the bed, and then when I'm trying to go to sleep, he's going to be in there, and I'm going to have to move him. But, you know, either way, it's not to say that it's a bad thing necessarily being predictable, but at the same time, it takes away from the impact, at least to an extent. And I guess maybe if I was a person who had never seen any of these wilderness survival movies, maybe I would be a bit more affected by it. But I've seen all sorts of stuff before, and I was able to, within probably the first like half an hour of the movie, pinpoint kind of almost exactly what was going to happen. And quite frankly, like, the best tension that's in the movie is almost the scene where that Eric Balfour dude shows up at the campsite.
Mhm.
So it's almost more the stuff with the people, but that's extremely brief.
Mhm.
But I think there's a lot more tension and a lot more menace in that than there is when they get into the stuff with the nature stuff later.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, obviously what happens is a lot more fucked up than what that dude would probably be involved with to begin with. But at the same time, it just, from where it went from there, it's like, okay, well, I already know what's going to happen.
I think I'd be more interested to kind of see Eric Balfour and is it Jeff Roop? Yeah, I'd probably rather prefer them to kind of.
That's who got you. What, you don't like, Missy? Whatever.
No. What I was gonna say is, I think if you would,
you're just into all that man-on-man action.
Well, yeah, that too. But no, I think it would have been a little bit more interesting had they kind of had like one of them kill the other one. I don't know.
So I said, I mean, I know you were all excited when we started talking about this because you were like, "Oh fuck yeah, hillbilly horror movies." And I was like, no, it's not hillbilly horror movies, bro.
That's true.
But you were all like, "Oh, fucking hillbillies." Like, so you would be happier if it was hillbilly horror, which would essentially be like they run into that dude, and then shit goes down.
Like that movie. You know what? No one's even gonna know the movie.
What?
But it was this movie Junior, where it kind of took place in like redneck Florida or Shallow Grave, and that's essentially one of those backroads horror movies. These are all just movies. These are all just movies that, you know, if you've never seen them, you wouldn't even know what they are. You know, they were just bad movies. But like, I like just terrible hillbilly, you know, horror movies. So I don't know. I don't know.
Well, this is definitely not a hillbilly horror movie. And I don't know, this apparently this girl is from Reaper. That's the show she was on before that.
Missy Peregrine. Okay, here's a funny story. Is she was in that movie? What's the cheerleading?
She was in
movie?
Heroes. Bring It On.
Yeah, I think she was in like one of those movies. And I was one of my coworkers. I went over to her house one day and we were just like watching TV, and she's like, "Do you think she's hot?" And I'm like, "She's not bad." So that's all I really know her from.
No, dude, she was not on that at all. She was on the Chris Isaac show, Dark Angel, Smallville. She was in some movie called Stick It, but really,
that's it. Stick It.
Really?
She was like a gymnast.
Well, it does say from the creator of Bring It On.
Okay, so there you
go. That did have Jeff Bridges in it. I mean, she's nice to look at, but quite frankly, you see way more of the dude's ass in this movie than you see of her.
Yeah, and everyone who knows me knows that I love asses, and it goes without saying that I pretty much would have preferred to see her ass.
You do see a little bit of her ass.
Still not.
Just a little bit.
Not enough.
But this dude who directed the movie, his name is Adam McDonald, and he's apparently been in. Well, he's been an actor in a whole bunch of stuff, including like Home Sweet Home, and he was apparently in that movie Wolves last year.
Wait a minute. Home Sweet Home.
Home Sweet Home is like that black dude who like goes into the house and attacks people because.
Oh, okay. Then it's not the one I'm thinking of.
No, this is because racism.
Okay.
But he's only done a couple of shorts, and this is like his first directorial film. And you know, I mean, this guy was in Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Wait, the old TV show?
Yep.
Oh, really? Who was he?
Big Wolf on Campus he was in.
Oh, no.
I don't know. He was Eddie West in Bulldog, apparently, in Are You Afraid of the Dark? I mean, he's only been in like a couple episodes and done some other stuff, but needless to say, I mean, he's not a director, but I think he did a competent job of directing the film. I mean, I think the film looks good. I think it works well, and I think it was well produced. I just don't think that it was surprising, and I think it was predictable. And is that necessarily something that makes a movie terrible? I don't think so. But I can see where if you were tired and you tried to watch this, you might want to take a nap.
Me. You know what, though?
And it doesn't help that the music is all just like this ambient, like it's either ambient, like uplifting music, or like the ambient, like I don't know. I like the music, but it's kind of the kind of music that I would listen to if I was going to go to sleep. Like that's the shit that I put on my iPod for when I'm trying to put my headphones in and fall asleep when my wife is already in bed and asleep and I'm just trying to zone out. So
it's definitely, you know what? It's not the what is it? It Follows soundtrack. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, very little is.
That's true. That's true. Word up.
But there wasn't a single point in this movie where I was actually afraid. There wasn't a single point in this movie where I actually felt like I was scared for the characters. I knew what was going to happen. And again, in my opinion, that's not always bad.
Well, I disagree. I think if you're going to, market it as a horror movie, you have to build that fear, or you have to kind of build that, suspense, But I mean, if it's just, trampling around the woods and, there's nothing frightening, it's more of just like, hey, here's a nature documentary. Here's what a bear is going to do, if you kind of get in its way. I respectfully disagree, but it just, I don't know. I just don't think that it set that tone. I don't think that if you're going to say, this is what, we're going to do for the woods what Jaws did for the water, which I'm so tired of hearing that comparison. But
that you can blame Dread Central.
Sure. Yeah, well, you know what? It's best that I don't continue on that. But anyway.
Well, I mean, it's fair. I mean, most of those sites.
But
they get a review and they're just, quotes come out and people say things. It's not just that site. There's a whole bunch of sites that do that same thing. Bloody Disgusting is the worst.
We won't go there. But
yeah, I just did.
Yeah, I know you did.
Fuck Bloody Disgusting.
Oh yeah. Hey. Yeah, I got nothing.
They just had a story where they were like, the new Scream logo for the TV show, and I was like, it's the same fucking logo that it was before. Why is this news?
Hey, man, look, you need to let those 15-year-olds who
it had that Comic Sans font underneath.
Yeah, but you know what? You gotta let those the 15-year-olds that you gotta let those 15-year-olds that write for those pages just do their thing, all right?
Whatever, bro.
They're busy with their shit stains and paint.
Let's talk about shit stains.
Okay.
Welcome to the Shit Stain Podcast.
The horror movie barbecue shit stain podcast, yo. Yo, that Chuck Connors though, yo. Yo, hoodies. How do they work?
Walmart.
We need to go to Walmart again to make fun of people.
Play the Walmart parking lot song.
Yo. You know what? Fuck this movie. Why don't you play Heavy Metal Parking Lot?
No.
Oh, okay. Anyway, go see Cool as Ice instead.
Well, I mean, it sounds like Chad's opinion's over with. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it other than I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty good. And, would I say that you should check it out? Yeah, but if I was to tell you when to check it out, I would say wait until it's on Netflix. Quite frankly, because it's an IFC midnight movie. which means that it will probably get a DVD release. Although apparently IFC has been doing a bunch of stuff with Scream Factory lately, so I guess there's a chance that we might get a Blu-ray of it at some point, but I don't know how excited I would be about a Blu-ray of this movie.
You know what? Let me just say this. The movie is shot well. It looks
good.
Like crystal clear, perfect. I will say that. That's something else I will end up saying.
I mean, it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's acted well. I don't think there's any really bad acting in the movie. I think it's, like I said, I think it's competently directed. I think it's, all around pretty good. I just think that the problem is there's not a lot of substance to it.
Uh-huh.
It is just literally dude brings girl to the woods.
Uh-huh.
Bad shit happens. Done.
Uh-huh.
And that's about it. Like, there's really, it doesn't do some shit like The Descent does. It doesn't do shit like even, it's, I would rather watch Deliverance than this movie, like a million times over. But again, I'm not going to say it's bad. I think the rating that I gave it was like 3 stars, which is like, hey, I like this, but it's not great. It's not bad. It's serviceable. It basically does what I thought it was going to do, and I guess that's all right in my book. But I could see where if you're tired, man, it might not be the best watch. You don't put this on at 12:30 in the morning.
If you have insomnia or you hate your children, this is probably the movie to put on.
If you hate your children? What the fuck is that all about?
Show them what a terrible, boring, crap mess movie this is.
I don't know, man. There's at least one thing that happens in this movie that I would not want my kids seeing.
It'll be a perfect punishment. You make them watch this crap.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really have anything else to say about it, though, other than I thought it was pretty. I really do think that they did a fairly good job of doing the character development in the film. Like, I feel like we spent enough time with these people that I should have cared when stuff happened. But the problem is that I kind of didn't care when stuff happened. Or I did care when it happened, but I didn't give a shit about anything that happened afterwards because it was really uneventful. Especially the last, like, you were saying you missed the last 10 minutes of the movie?
Yeah.
But that last 10 minutes of the movie, for me, was very much like, really? Really?
It sounds like I even, messaged you. You know what? I am not going to spoil it because, like I said, if you do like this movie, I'm not going to like trash it, just to piss you off or whatever. But the ending, I can see coming. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you're like, you can't even speak. You're like, God damn it, they stunted my mouth.
I don't know, but
man, you're really taking this hard.
You know what? I mean,
Dude, we watched The Sweet Blood of Jesus, and I don't even think you were this lost for words.
I really wasn't, because
this has got you disheartened as fuck.
Yeah, but I was reading that there were a lot of good reviews on this movie. That's what kind of excuse me. That's may be
in the corner.
Yeah.
In the spotlight.
Yeah. I don't know.
Your religion.
Oh, shut up.
Trying to keep a view.
That's me in the corner.
I don't know if I can do it. Gonna try to make me watch Backcountry.
You know what I'm gonna make you guys? I know exactly what movie I'm gonna make you guys watch for one of our next shows. Oh no, I'm not gonna tell you right now.
Well, come on.
Oh, no. I'm lying. I don't know.
No, do not take this personally. Do not attack me, Chad.
I'm not taking it personally, and I'm not going to attack you. Of course
It's
not.
a movie.
No, man, because I still got to come over and watch some shitty movies. So
Watch those spookies though.
watch that Hawk Jones.
Dude, I won't watch. Dude, I bet you Hawk Jones is better than this though.
Oh, you know it is.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, personally, I don't think it's terrible, but
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if for me, this is not the kind of movie that I would be like, oh, everybody needs to go watch this.
Mm-hmm.
I would basically say if you like to camp,
Mm-hmm.
if you like to go in the wilderness,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, maybe you should watch this movie for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just like, I've seen all this stuff and I'm looking for the most intense thing ever, I'd be like, well, this is not going to deliver any of that for you.
Mm-hmm. No, not really. No, unfortunately.
It's kind of utterly predictable. But
it's like watching a NPR story come to life.
Hey, I like NPR.
Hey, you know what? I don't mind listening to NPR every once in a while.
Man, I was listening to some of the other I was listening to was it Radio Lab?
I don't know anymore.
The podcast, and they were talking about those dudes over in Cuba who were injecting themselves with HIV positive blood.
Sure. Not.
That shit's crazy.
You know what? Why the hell not? Let's yeah, sure.
You're trying to say that you'd rather inject yourself with HIV positive blood than watch this movie, Chad?
I wouldn't go that far.
Good.
Chlamydia is nothing to joke about.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, I got nothing else, man. I this movie is something that personally, I think if you're interested in it, you should wait. It'll be on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Watch it on Netflix.
Yep.
That's it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Out. And it sounds like, Chad, you're saying that people should just not fucking watch this movie, period.
I'm saying that you should go watch Sleepaway Camp 4 before you watch this.
It's so much better than Sleepaway Camp 4.
You know what? I'm guessing that it's better than you know what? I'll give you that much. See this before you see Sleepaway Camp 4.
If you see one Sleepaway Camp 4 movie, make sure it's Backcountry.
Actually, this could be Sleepaway Camp 4.
It's way better than Sleepaway Camp 4.
Oh, yeah.
That movie's a piece of shit.
Uh,
Like a piece of festering, steaming, diarrhea dog shit. Like the most offensive type of shit that you can think of.
It's like 3-day-old moldy diarrhea.
Yeah, exactly. Came from a dog's asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And you know those dogs don't fuck around.
No, they don't. They really don't. Like, what the fuck is up?
When they drop some shits, they drop some fucking nastiness.
Dogs in heat. Not to be confused with children in heat.
Yeah,
from
pretty much.
The Misfits. Which, by the way, I owe you big time for getting me into the Misfits.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So now maybe you're not so angry at me.
No, I'm really
about
not.
The fact that you watched this, even though I'm not even the one who necessarily picked this movie.
Jesse. And you know what? Jesse is complaining that he didn't see any boobs. You know what? This is your punishment. This is your punishment. You do not get to see boobs.
Yeah, there was no boobs in this movie at all.
I'm talking about mine.
Oh, you want to see your boobs?
Yeah, he wanted to see my boobs, so you know what? Guess what?
Where did he complain?
In the Q&A.
Really? I didn't even see it.
I didn't see it until a few minutes ago. I'm sorry, Jesse.
Well, my computer's acting like a cocksucker. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine is just blank. Oh wait, I was promised boobs. Where's Chad's boobs? I'm going to bed. No boobs. Now I see it. It didn't come up with any alerts.
Oh, yeah, I don't get those alerts, I guess.
Well, I'm sorry, Jesse. Maybe next time we can have Chad take his shirt off.
Nope. Not
Show you
after
those
this
supple man nipples.
Not after this mess. Hell no.
Yeah, no. That waterfall, though.
Oh, jeez. Yo, what side do you go down? The right side. He said it. The right side. Look at him.
Oh, you're a good guesser. I'm not guessing. Yeah, no, fuck that. Come on.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
You know what? Like I said, it's not bad. It's alright. But would I recommend this? Nah, maybe if it's on Netflix and that's it. Done. That's my opinion, period. And it sounds like you are a big fucking
fuck this shit.
Vagina fart.
It's a big queef of a movie.
It's a big queef of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Chad says fuck no. And I'm like, yo, it's not so bad if you're going to watch it on Netflix and not pay to watch it.
Not pay.
You can take that and do what you want with it.
Yep.
Right?
Pretty much.
Sound
Yeah,
about
pretty
right?
much. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, let's see here. I think we're getting close to the end of the night. End of the night. And,
I have to go soon, and I'll tell you why. Because I have to go assemble the Chuck Connors fan club.
You have to go assemble. What are you, like the fucking Avengers of Chuck Connors?
Yes, like Chuck Connery is the Iron Man.
You are the fucking Chuck Connery Avengers. Like
shit.
That's totally you. You're just like,
So-
my whole entire life consists of Chuck Connery.
So Chuck Connery, he would be the Iron Man. I would be the Hulk. I guess Jesse would be the who else is Captain America, and I guess Johnny would John Squires would probably be Hawkeye. I think, I don't know, but there's a big revolution happening, and if you don't get in it, then motherfucker, you better get the fuck out the way, and then I guess you can be the Ultron.
Really?
Yeah. Because you're pretty well spoken. You kind of look like James Spader.
Ultron is well spoken.
He's James Spader, so why not?
I'm not well spoken.
All right, fair enough.
All right. Well, I think this is an appropriate time to take a break then, and then we'll come back and wrap things up. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
So it sounds like Chad's like, don't watch Backcountry at all, and I'm like, hey, it's if you watch it on Netflix. So,
excuse me.
I take it that means you would not recommend this to anybody, period. Okay. And as I said, I would recommend it if you can watch it on Netflix.
Yes.
So that's where we'll leave things.
All right.
So, with that being said, we will be back in a minute.
There's 52 ways to murder anyone. 1 and 2 are the same, and they both look as well. I'm coming clean for 80. Surely doesn't scream as well, and the cops won't listen. Oh, no. And so maybe I'll be over as soon as I feel and I can remember when I saw you. We were running all around and having a blast. But the backseat of the driving is so lonely without you. I know when you're home, I was thinking about you. There was something I forgot to say. I was trying on Saturday night. I I was up feeling without you. They were playing our song, crying on Saturday night. As the moon becomes the night time, you go viciously, quietly away. Where we used to sit and smoke cigarettes. Now I'm watching you die. Oh, 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 oh. I dream I saw photographs. We were running all around and having a blast. But the backseat of the driving yard so lonely without you. I know that you're home. I was thinking about you. There was something I forgot to say. I was trying on Saturday night. I was up feeling without you. Never playing our song. Crying on Saturday night. Yeah. Crying on Saturday night. Crying on Saturday all I wanna say, all I gotta do, what I'm doing for you. And all I wanna say, and all I gotta do, what I'm doing for you. Oh, all I want, all I want, I'm the red exterminate the whole fucking race of the day. Stop the power person and the whole stop the fucking I'm the red exterminate the whole fucking race. Well, all I want is to say, and all I gotta do, could I do this for hate me or you? And all I want is to say, and all I gotta do, could I do this for hate me or you? Oh, I want to love. I want to love. I want to love.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, motherfucker.
So that's it. That's our show for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So
That was
thanks
a good
for
show.
hanging around. Listening to some Misfits.
Yeah, good times.
Even though I snuck the Michael Graves Misfits era in there, which is not necessarily the best part. But, you know.
I'm still discovering the Misfits, but I think I like Danzig more.
Basically, all you need to know is that once Danzig left, it's mostly garbage. Michael Graves' era was okay, but then after he left, it was just complete and utter dog shit.
You want to know something? And oh, by the way, before I mention the story, I have to go back and apparently I made a fatal mistake when I was talking about the Chuck Connors Avengers. I said that John Squires was a Hawkeye, and I have to renege that. And he apparently is meant to be the Black Widow, so I apologize.
Where did that come from?
Twitter. Jeez.
Oh, he told you on Twitter?
Yeah, some big controversy. And
big
but anyway.
controversy. Big pun. I'm not a player. I just fuck a lot.
By the way, I love the Incubus version.
What? The Incubus version of what? That? They really?
Yeah, you've never
really?
heard that? Yeah,
no.
Look, it's pretty good. Yes, you got to listen to it. It's pretty. I love Incubus.
He's like, pardon me while I fuck a lot.
I love that song, by the way. It's one of my favorite bands too.
Show us your tits.
Oh, shit. Oh no. Okay, so the Misfits thing. You know what stopped me from listening to the Misfits for so long?
Vagina.
Well, yeah. Well, no, yeah. Actually, you're pretty spot on. But but no, they were in WCW back in when I was in high school.
Jesus, that's right. They did show up in that shit.
And I just remember
It's
thinking,
like I'm a wrestling purist. If they're not on WWE,
no.
Wow.
I remember thinking this is terrible, and it just turned me off from listening to their music just because I was like, well, if they're terrible on wrestling, they've got to be terrible in music.
I mean, to be fair, like I said, honestly, the Danzig era of Misfits is probably one of my favorite things ever in the entire world.
Mm-hmm. It's
to the point where I was in a band that used to just do all sorts of covers of those songs. And yeah, I mean, I can't get into anything else, and everything that's after Michael Graves is just fucking horrible. Like Jerry Only. Oh my God.
I tried.
But I love me some Misfits era Danzig, and I love me some Danzig 1, 2, 3, and 4 as far as the albums go.
He still tours, doesn't he? I mean, he doesn't tour with the Misfits, but
no, he does. Yeah, well, so eventually those motherfuckers are gonna decide that they want the money, and they do it. I will be there wherever I have to go to see that.
I will go with you.
I will be there, even though Danzig is washed up and terrible, and the Misfits are pretty much the same.
Pretty much. And
but
even
the
if he's
two of them
buying
together, magic.
Yeah, he'll make so much. It'll be like, you know what? I am a huge fan of Van Halen and David Lee Roth. So essentially, that's what. Did you see David Lee Roth on the? Was it Jimmy Kimmel?
Here's the thing. If you get a Misfits reunion with Danzig, he's not going to sing into the microphone like half the time. So you might be a little bit disappointed, depending if you're used to him or not. But no, I did not see David.
Oh, okay. Eddie Van Halen sound. You know, he was killing it. Like he played better than anybody half his age, older than him. I mean, he's still one of the greatest guitarists ever. David Lee Roth still had the energy, but you know, it's impossible to expect like someone, 50, 60 maybe, to sound like, you know, they did when they were in their 20s. Not a lot of people can do that. So, I mean, I get it, you know, but I mean, going back and listening to all this music, I would totally go. I would go with you to go see the Misfits when they decide to, you know, cut their shit out.
When we'll see. I don't know. They seem to be a little bit too pride heavy for me, but yes, I mean that's really our show for the night. So that's a review. We're talking about stuff, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks. We're gonna talk about Unfriended.
Ooh.
And hopefully we will have more folks with us when we talk about that movie. Not that I don't enjoy podcasting with you, Chad.
Oh, thanks a lot, prick.
But you know,
yeah.
Try to find somebody who's not just like, this movie fucking sucks my balls.
Yo, this is not cool as ice, you fucker.
Yeah, basically, Chad's just like, if it's not cool as ice, I don't want any part of it.
If it ain't Miami Connection, you can suck my dick.
You know, I still don't understand that because you were like, apparently you were talking about that being out of print, but I don't really understand why they would be out of print.
Here's the deal: I guess when it first came out, it was like what, $35, and then I mean, when I said out of print, I was guessing because I don't know how Draft House works, and if someone can let me know how Draft House works.
They're fairly new in the game of doing distribution. Okay. So
I feel it went out of it either ran. I mean,
it's possible they ran out of it and they just didn't reprint it until now, and then just some asshole was like, "Oh my god, there's nothing left, and we'll sell mine for $100."
Well, that's probably what it was because it was going for like a lot of money.
You pay $100 for Miami Connection, you need to have your dick cut off.
I would never even. Not even I would consider paying that much for Miami Connection.
Stupid. I was gonna say the R word, but then I didn't.
Yeah, pretty much. Nobody needs to pay anything. You should. Miami Connection is the last thing you should ever pay $100 for.
Yep. I'll be honest. I paid like $70 to get the new Fright Night Blu-ray because I missed the pre-orders. Well, I missed the pre-orders because I'm an idiot, and I had my surgery. Is what happened, and I was out on my surgery after that. And on all sorts of fucking painkillers. And I forgot all about it.
Yeah, but comparing Fright Night to Miami Connection?
Oh,
come on.
I've never seen Miami Connection.
Ooh,
Jesus, I just burped.
We're gonna have to fix that.
Well, I was thinking about ordering it because you were like, oh, and I'm like, I'm never going to pay that much money for it, but $18. Because I was going to order Gone with the Pope and Massacre Mafia style anyway. So I was like, maybe I'll just add this on to that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea, I guess.
So, but, yeah, anyway.
Good times.
That's our show.
That is our show.
So we're going to go in a minute, but Chad, you want to tell people where they can find you on the interwebs?
No.
Where are you on the internet, man?
You can find me Horror Movie BBQ. Horror Movie Bar. You know what? It's pronounced Horror Movie Barbecue. Just type in Horror Movie BBQ on Twitter, Instagram, horrormoviebbq.com, Facebook. That's pretty much it.
I'm that Horror Movie BBQ. I am on Twitter at Jeff_FOTD. You can find me on Instagram at DeadAirJeff. I'm on Facebook under my name. And other than that, deadairpodcast.net, bitch. And just to keep things interesting, because there's really not a lot else to talk about tonight. Chad may not be aware that I was ever in a band. You know about that?
Yeah, I did.
Did I tell you about
Lori
that?
used to tell me that she covered your band or something like that.
That was a different band.
Oh.
I was in like a punk rock band, and we used to do Misfits covers.
Okay.
I don't have any of those right now, but would you like to hear a song?
I would, yeah. No, I'm being serious. Yeah, I would love to.
And at this point, I don't even give a shit if anyone's listening. But if you're out there listening, we'll talk to you guys later. And thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in like another 2 weeks. Don't forget, next week we're off. We'll be reviewing Unfriended in about 2 weeks. And until then, don't fucking die. Now that I have the formalities out of the way, and we're just broadcasting at this point, I don't give a fuck. Because quite frankly, I'm a little bit drunk.
Hey, can I ask you a big favor?
What's that?
Because I made a joke in there at the kind of the beginning, maybe, where I said the movie was kind of gay. I feel kind of guilty about that. If you can kind of cut that out later.
Nah. Yeah, dude. I'll have to go back in and add. No, you're all right. You're good.
And I feel uncomfortable about doing that. That's all.
If I'm editing it and I come across it, I'll cut it out.
All right, that's fine.
But I don't listen to every single minute of the.
Right. Okay.
You know,
I probably shouldn't have said it.
basically, when you're on live radio, like we are now, and people are listening, you just need to not say things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all right, because it's not as gay as you are, so you don't have to worry.
Penis.
Cock.
Cock.
On there.
Hey, did you end up getting Harley Davidson in the Marlboro Man?
No. Is that shout?
That thing looks, yeah, it's shout. It looks so awesome.
So, if you want to hear a band that I was in,
yeah, I do, of course. Yeah.
So there's 2 songs that I have on here, and it's something I can even show you us covering Misfits songs because that's what I used to do a lot. But
I would love to. Yeah.
Here you go.
All right.
Got nothing to do. I'm too fucking bored. You know there's nothing to go. To the liquor store. Don't wanna go to the mall. It's too fucking late. But I got kicked out of there, so I can go anyway. Bored. I'm so goddamn bored. I'm so goddamn bored. I'm so goddamn bored. I ain't got a car, no way I can go anywhere or anywhere. My life has got me both. That's why they get me say, can't really leave the house. So the only thing that I can do is sit around the park. Yeah, bored. I'm so goddamn bored. I'm so goddamn bored. I'm so goddamn bored. Stop.
And then we also have this one.
Were you the singer there?
No. I play guitar.
Oh, okay. Dude, that's pretty bad. I like it. I probably would have gone to see you, yeah.
I wrote this one.
You wrote this one coming up?
No, I wrote the other one and I wrote this one.
Oh, okay.
That's me singing right there.
It's you singing?
Yeah. Just the one part. That part there.
No, put the teeth! You're wasting time! No, put the teeth! Tell me why you're dead a drive! I'm lost because it makes like I'm asleep! So you get the red, get back up the
Like right here. That's me.
No fact! It might be the turn it back! 2DK! The run! No doubt! He's got 2DK! He's a
Boom.
That was not bad. I like that. Yeah. Dude, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I would have downloaded that. Or not. I would have listened to that. Yeah.
20-year anniversary of band that I was in back then.
Never forget.
Never forget.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, we're gonna actually do some shows.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
It might happen.
Well, let me know because I would love to. I would totally come out and see it.
Be a bunch around a fucking bunch of punk rock, dirty ass kids.
Yeah, dude, I would totally love to do that.
Because everybody that used to listen to us is either probably on heroin or long time. So I don't know. It's 1 o'clock, so
Mm-hmm. Oh, geez, it is. Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to go upstairs and watch King of Kong again.
Oh, that's a good idea. I
Or,
think I'm probably going to watch Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Does it make me a terrible person that I want to have a double feature of Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile at some point in my life here?
You want to know something? I've never seen either, so I don't know.
Michael Douglas.
Who is coming to Rochester next week?
Who's coming to Rochester next week?
Michael Douglas. He's doing the what is it? The thing at the Eastman House, the award. He's accepting his award at the Eastman House.
Well, are they showing a movie or something?
No. They're going to give him an award. He's going to, come and then, he's going to accept it, and then he's going to do some meet and greet with the people.
Juggle.
He's a Michael Douglas, the Juggalo.
Juggalo.
Dude, I would you know what you should do? Buy a ticket and then go up and get a photo with him with your face painted like a Juggalo.
No.
So
never painted my face like a fucking Juggalo.
From Santorum.
No.
Oh, shit. But yeah, man, hey, let me know if you want to go to the Record Archive tomorrow.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I will, whoa, I just hit a button and stuff happened.
Uh-oh, what happened?
I don't know. Something clicked. But, yeah, that's it. Done recording, so have a good night, everybody.
Hey, you too.
May or may not be listening. Chad will, suck your dick.
Uh-huh.
If you want.
I will, but only if you can get me that Blu-ray of the video Dead, because my VHS is about to die.
You don't have that? It's like fucking $10.
Yeah, no, dude, fuck. I've got other shit to pay for, unfortunately, so I haven't had a chance to go out and buy it yet.
Oh my god.
So,
my god.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh my god!
What the fuck are you doing? Did you hear that?
Oh my god!
I just farted twice.
Ain't life a
Oh my god!
Yeah, when you go to get your points back, when you go to even the score up, you can't worry about who out there with him, his mama, his daddy, his
later,
kids.
homies.
Talk to you later, Jeff.
On right there on the spot.
I got another gang story. Tell people about how a black brother was born in hell. And right then and there, there's no hope, cause a brother can't escape the gangs in the door. Damn, and when it's black on black, that's a pity. Can't survive in the Compton city. And fool, let's bet. Cause when you grow up in the hood, you got to claim the set. Yeah, it's not that you won't do what you have to. Don't be your mark, cause brothers might laugh you straight off they block. They do it busters, so they tails get clocked. Gee, who gives a damn about another? Only got love for my gang brothers. Gee, but I'm young, so nobody would wonder that the hood could take me under. Somebody help me.
Yeah, putting in work is like, something happened to one of your homeboys. You go retaliate. Handle that business. Get one of them down. Point score. Make it even. You know what I mean?
Now I'm a few ages older. Just call me a nut, cause the 8 got bolder. And putting it work, I has to do my part. I'm down for the hood, and it's planted in the heart. Fool at school, slapping on the girls' butts. We get the right education, cause it's driving me nuts. Cause ain't no teaching a brother why reality. Teach me the Compton gang mentality. Pop, 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 drops the sucker. If he's from another hood, I got to shoot the soft brother. Gee, I'm in it to win it and can't quit. Fool, and ready to die, cause I'm with it. One times can't fade the game tough. Putting my foot in your tail to make times rough. I'm the neighborhood terror, but I never wondered
that the hood would take me under. Somebody help me.
One day, you kicking with your homeboy, the next day he gone. You know what I'm saying? You hurt. It make you want to go do something drastic, like smoke somebody.
People die every day. So for me, I don't care. I'm down for my hood.
The hood done took me under.
Let me explain something to you in plain English.
Now I watch my back cause brothers jeffin'. Times hurt the 8 caught the 187. Who I thought was my homie dropped the dime. So I gotta peel his cap with the 9. Chill, if it's on, then it's on. Forget it, G, because how the odds are looking, fool. It's either him or me. So I load up the Glock and I step, cause my brain cells are dead and all I think is death, revenge. Yeah, that's what it's all about. See the brother take the sorry sucker out. Instead of fool down with the eye contact and try to swing, so I draw him with the gap. Blast was the sound of one time's herder. Brother 25, the life for the murder. Was it worth it? I always wonder. Maybe if Compton didn't take me under, somebody help me. Yeah, all my homies in the house. Say the hood done took me under. Yeah, for the homies.
You're back now at the Jack Off Hour. This is DJ Easy Dick on them balls. Right now, something new by Snoop Doggy Dogg. And this one goes out to the ladies from all the guys. A big bow wow wow. Cause we gonna make it a little mystery here tonight. This is DJ Easy Dick on the station that slaps you across your fat ass with a fat dick.
When I met you last night, baby, before you opened up your gap, I had respect for your lady, but now I take it all back, cause you gave me all your pussy, and you even licked my balls. Leave your number on the cabinet, and I promise, baby, I'll give you a call. Next time I'm feeling kinda horny, you can come on over and I'll break you off. And if you can't fuck that day, baby, just lay back and open your mouth. Cause I have never met a girl if corrupt gave a fuck about a bitch, I'd always be broke. I never have no motherfucking endo to smoke. I get sloped and loony. Bitch, you can't do me. Do we look like BBD? You hoochie groupie. I have no love for hoes. That's something that I learned in the pound. So how the fuck am I supposed to pay this hoe? Just the latest hoe. I know the pussy's mine. I'ma fuck a couple more times, and then I'm through with it. There's nothing else to do with it. Pass it to the homie. Now you hit it. Cause she ain't nothing but a bitch to me. And y'all know that bitches ain't shit to me. I give a fuck. Why don't y'all pay attention? Approach her with a different proposition. I'm corrupt, ho. You'll never be my only one. Trick ass bitch. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. Guess who's back in the motherfucking house with a fat dick for your motherfucking mouth? Hoes recognize, niggas do too, cause when bitches get scandalous and pull a voodoo, what you gon' do? You really don't know, so I'd advise you not to trust that hoe. Silly of me to fall in love with a bitch, knowing damn well I'm too caught up with my grip. Now as the sun rotates and my game grows bigger, how many bitches wanna fuck this nigga named Snoop Doggy? I'm all the above, I'm too swift on my toes to get caught up with you hoes, but see, it ain't no fun if my homies can't get a taste of it, cause you know I don't love it. Woo! Hey, Now you know, inhale, exhale with my flow. 1 for the money, 2 for the bitches, 3 to get ready, and 4 to hit the switches in my Chevy. 6 for red to be exact, with bitches on my side and bitches on my back. So back up, bitch, because I'm struggling. Just get on your knees and then start juggling these motherfucking nuts in your mouth. It's me, Warren G, the nigga with the clout.